Chairman Paris?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The invocation tonight is Chaplain John von Allman of the U.S. Air Force. Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be here with you all and invite you to pray with me. Almighty God, you are our stalwart guard and our ever-present source of strength in the past, our hope for the future, our guide for today. In the aftermath of recent tragedy in our land, we pray for your vision and hope to bless the families that have known loss, to bring peace and healing after pain. We pray that you be present with this body of civic leaders tonight as they gather to engage the challenges facing their city. The calling to public service is more than just a duty, it is a sacred trust. Guide the decisions made this evening that they will support the people of Lancaster and provide well for the future. Hear these our prayers. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So we have Paraclete here, right? Who from Paraclete wants to do the pledge? Come on, you got to decide quick. Who's the captain? Come on. You're holding up the meeting. Who's going to lead us in the pledge? Before you start, I want to.
I'm a pitcher.
Before you start.
Oh, okay. I
want to tell you what I think is the secret of success, and that's never missing an opportunity to practice in front of people. And she took the opportunity. Now you can start.
Okay. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, do you have your speech? Okay, Toy Chisholm. Now, this is Toy's first time at the mic, and I am here. I mean, we don't count Santa Clarita.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council members. Toy Chisholm, Assistant to the City Manager. It's my pleasure tonight to reintroduce to you the 2016 AmeriCorps Vistas, who have been with us for nearly a year with a committed service project to engage and make a healthier Lancaster. And so they are actually going to be providing tonight to you a year in review summary of what they have accomplished. Individually, we have Jickie Fankashan. Come on, Jackie. Jessica Perales, Rochelle Garcia, Katie Lorenzini, and Alicia Austin, who could not be here with us tonight. But these girls have done an outstanding job collectively, individually and collectively, and it is my honor to allow them to present to you. I think after tonight's presentation, you will join me in celebrating their success, and truly, their service project has created a better Lancaster. I almost said Santa Clarita.
Yeah, that would have been a mistake.
Good evening, Mayor Paris and esteemed City Council members. We stood before you 1 year ago, fresh out of college, with a passion to implement a community initiative to the best of our abilities during our year of service with AmeriCorps Vista. That being said, we stand before you today ready to tell you how we accomplished what we set out to do. The Mayor's Health and Wellness Council, in partnership with AmeriCorps Vista, established a vision to transform Lancaster into one of the healthiest communities in California. Ultimately, our mission is to provide children and families with access to health care, nutritious food, and educational opportunities which enable them to lead healthier, more physically active lifestyles. I'd like to share some research with you this evening that will really highlight the importance of our programs and make the concept more tangible, so to speak. Duke University recently published literature proving that childhood obesity comes with an estimated price tag of $19,000 per child. During the 2015 to 2016 school year, we have served a total of 450 kindergarten students. Thus, with proper execution in the years to come, From an economic standpoint, we are saving Lancaster families and city social services a minimum of $8.6 million. This number will only continue to grow as these programs expand to more children each consecutive school year.
Right. So as Chicky mentioned, this past academic year, the Mayor's Health and Wellness Council began a pilot initiative called the Mayor's Health Academy. It consisted of two components, an in-school and an after-school one. ABC for Fitness is the in-school component, and it aims to incorporate 3 to 5 minute long bursts of physical activity throughout the academic day, and therefore adding to 30 minutes per day. As a supplement to PE time, so it's additional time that they'd be doing physical activity. This past year, in partnership with the Lancaster School District, we initiated this program within 3 local elementary schools in the Lancaster community: Sierra, Sunnydale, and Joshua Elementary. And we also incorporated this year a monthly assembly-style burst at each school led by a fitness professional that was approximately 20 to 30 minutes in length that both the teachers and students absolutely loved. This has only been its first year, but this initiative has already had a profound impact within these schools. Each child has received an additional 4,710 minutes of physical activity this past academic year. Between all of the schools, we've had 15 kindergarten teachers participate and approximately 450 students. We've also had 2 interns successfully complete this year at aiding and facilitating the program and ensuring its success within the classroom. Next year, this program will expand to include first grade students at the 3 Lancaster schools, in addition to the kindergarten classrooms as well. Now, the counterpart to ABC for Fitness is Food and Fun After School. This component is held once a week. It's an after-school activity that's focused on nutrition and physical activity, and it's held at 2 wellness homes within the Lancaster community, Joshua and Lowtree, from 3:30 to 6 p.m. This activity was geared towards kindergartners from the 3 elementary schools and their siblings. Each activity day was composed of a nutrition lesson, a healthy snack that some days included them making their snacks and some days involved them taste testing, as well as homework help and garden activities in the backyards of these homes. We also expanded upon the activity day by also introducing health education and workshops. We partnered with Bartol Dodana to offer 2 mobile clinics at the Joshua Wellness Home as well as the Lowtree Wellness Home. And we also partnered with WIC, Women, Infants, and Children, to provide a nutrition class for the parents and children of the Food and Fun After School activity. And in April, we also incorporated a food distribution for food and fun families through our partnership with Love on Purpose, a local nonprofit.
This year, with support from our partners and sponsors, we were able to build 2 community gardens at Lowtree and Joshua Wellness Homes, both of which are where our after-school activity takes place. At each home, there are now a total of 6 garden beds. In addition, we planted 3 fruit trees at each home, a majority of which are located in the front yards of the homes to increase community access to them. These community gardens were designed to be a supplement to our food and fun after-school activities. According to a study in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, community garden activities in conjunction with nutrition lessons have been shown to be a promising strategy in addressing childhood obesity. This year, these gardens have been a valuable addition to our food and fun after-school activities. This gives our student participants a chance to watch plant growth, learn about what they are eating, and even try some of the things they have grown. It has been extremely valuable for us watching them learn and enjoy spending time in the garden. Both of our garden installation projects were sponsored by the City of Lancaster's Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service project. We had a Phase 1 project on January 16th in which we had a large group of volunteers at each of the homes who helped us build the 6 garden beds and mix the soil to be put in the gardens. In addition to the support we received from the City of Lancaster, Antelope Valley Partners for Health helped us tremendously in getting many of the materials to build the garden boxes. Our Phase 2 project was on February 20th, and during that time we had another large group of volunteers who helped us plant the 6 fruit trees in the front yards, plant seeds, transplant veggies, and build hoop gardens in some of the garden boxes to serve as a sort of greenhouse. We had a community planting day at Low Tree on April 23rd, in which volunteers helped us harvest veggies, plant seeds, build trellises for some of our plants, and helped us with basic maintenance. Not only have these gardens proven to be a great tool for our after-school participants, but it is great to see community members become involved and interested and want to spend time in the gardens as well.
Now, as our service year came to an end, we wanted to close off our year in Lancaster by celebrating our many accomplishments with our community. On May 12, 2016, we hosted Toast of the Town at the Lancaster Museum of Art and History. We invited community leaders and the star participants of our programs to enjoy an evening of dinner and drinks while learning about health, wellness, and the success of our pilot year from our sponsors and our partners. At this year's Toast of the Town, we managed to fundraise $900 from attendees to go towards future program implementation. We also garnered an event sponsorship grant from Kaiser Permanente to cover the costs of the event. Our final event was called Field Day, and it was held on May 21st, 2016 at Jane Reynolds Park here in Lancaster. The purpose of this event was to provide all Mayor's Health Academy participants and family members with a day to celebrate all of their hard work and engagement throughout the year. Attendees participated in outdoor picnic games, family-friendly activities, and they even had lunch on us.
This year, the Mayor's Health and Wellness Council also partnered with the City of Lancaster's Communication Department to create a video about the Health and Wellness Council and the pilot year of the Mayor's Health Academy. This video shows what we have been up to this year, as well as what the Mayor's Health Academy initiative consists of, and what our hopes are for the future. It can be found on both the Mayor's Health and Wellness Council YouTube page, as well as the City of Lancaster YouTube page. Lastly, I would just like to say a huge thanks to all of our sponsors and partners. It has been an extremely successful pilot year for the Mayor's Health Academy, and it would not have been possible without their support.
And now an update from OneLink. Just in case you guys forgot, OneLink is an online portal that connects volunteers with local nonprofit organizations within the community. The stats are that through our year, we have recruited 580 volunteers that added to the grand total of 1,005 volunteers to our website. We have also been able to add 17 new organizations to the website, which goes to the grand total of 89 organizations for volunteers to serve at. Through the relationships with our organizations, our volunteers have served a total of 619 hours to their community. And 200 of those hours, or over 200 of those hours, were served with the Mayor's Health and Wellness Council. We have also been able to implement OneLink into 3 high schools within the AV, and that includes Eastside High School, Antelope Valley High School, as well as Highland High School. I truly believe OneLink is a great asset for any community to have because it encourages civic engagement, and it's just a great tool for any thriving community. On behalf of Mayor Corvistas, we'd like to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve with you guys.
And we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Tell us more about the 5-minute burst.
The 5-minute burst, so it's 5 minutes and it consists of a warm-up activity, which is like a light stretch, a core activity, which is like running in place or doing some kind of dance, and then a cool down, which is like another little stretch to calm them down.
Could you teach him real quick?
And this actually serves 2 benefits. It gets the kids moving, which is good for their health, but it also gets these kids to calm down a little bit because they get restless because they're so young in class. So it gives them a little break between their academics.
Did we measure the obesity at all?
We did measure BMIs, yeah.
And what were the results?
We're still calculating those. We just took them recently, now that the academic year was over. So we will have that and accessible to the city to look at
So when can I see that?
by next week.
Next week? Okay, good. I mean, that's going to be the proof of it, right? If it measures, then we were successful. You know, look what four people can do, getting engaged in the city and wanting to improve the quality of everyone's life. That is an amazing accomplishment. I mean, one time I was talking to the World Health Organization about what to do with this diabetes that is coming at us. And they said, we don't know. We really don't know. We just know that this is a huge problem. And it sounds to me like you're really using cutting-edge stuff to actually do something about it. And you're starting at the right population. It's a fabulous effort. I can't tell you how indebted we are to you. You guys, any questions?
Very nice. Thank you.
Hold on, I got some. And we can't let you go without a photo op.
Of course.
Okay, Rochelle?
Yes.
Why don't we?
She couldn't be here today.
So where do you guys go for?
Different places.
Back to school?
I'll be moving back to South Florida, and I'll be studying for the LSAT and taking it in September. And then hopefully by next year I'll be enrolled in a dual degree program.
I know where you can get a job.
Then I'll be moving back to San Diego and working on pre-med requirements and studying for the MCAT.
I'll be moving back to San Diego as well and getting ready to apply to grad schools to do environmental health.
And I'll be here finishing my education at CSUB for criminal justice. I should be done in the fall.
We have a job for you.
I'll hold you to that.
Okay, Jessica?
Jakey? Is it Jakey? Yeah. Thank you.
come on. We had a drawing, and one of you get to give a speech when I'm done. It's called an impromptu speech. You ready? And it was you. Tonight we're recognizing the Paraclete High School softball team for winning the 2016 CIF Southern Section Division VI Championship for the second year in a row. Right? Wow. The Spirits defeated Savannah High School of Anaheim earlier this month on June 4th, 2016, to take home the championship title. This has been a milestone year for the Spirits softball team. They had an undefeated season, 28-0, as well as a 47-game winning streak. Did you get bored? And now back-to-back championship titles, the first team to do so in school history. This is an achievement for which our entire community can be proud. The team's ongoing hard work, perseverance, and dedication reflects the great potential possessed by our local youth. Together, our community, whether friends, family, coaches, or teachers, lends a helping hand in positively influencing our local youth's development. On behalf of the entire City Council, I congratulate the Paraclete High School, I almost said Paris High School, well, the Paraclete High School softball team on their incredible victory and wish all of you luck in the future endeavors. Hey, but that being said, are incredible. I mean, who does that? 47 games? Wow. You must have great coaches, do you? I mean, and look at you. Wow. I am thrilled. So we're going to give this to your coach. Which coach wants it? Okay. Here we go. Let's get a picture. What? That'll follow his advice.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that it looks any better. So they didn't give her a raise?
No.
They didn't give her a raise? I want everybody to write the principal of Paraclete and say, why didn't you give her a raise? Twice in a row, 47 games. My gosh. What? I didn't bring my hearing aids. What did you say?
Team picture.
Team picture for a banner. Yeah, we're going to do that, but we got to finish this. We all done with this? Okay, great. Can I give them their certificates first? Absolutely. Okay, thanks. Anything else you want me to do, Mark? You know, you went to Paraclete. Did you do any championship games?
You were talking about raises, if you want to go there.
You might get one if you came down and helped me here. You know.
I will note, Mayor, he never even made the varsity squad in anything.
Really?
Well, this is my 5th time in the trophy case at Paraclete High School now.
I'm on that trail, right? I'll read the names. Samantha. How do you say it? Areola. I should have known that. Areola, just like it says. Hi, Samantha. How are you? Come on. And you're the one giving the speech, right?
No.
Mackenzie Atkerson. How are you? So what did you play?
Second base.
Second base?
Yeah.
My son played second base. I don't think he did it as well as you. Who's she? Hey, come over here. We'll get a picture with you two. Okay? You want someone to...
Sure.
Okay.
I need someone more qualified than I.
She gave me pictures.
How's that? Okay? those guys. They came to yell at me, so yeah, no way. Amber Brandmeier. Amber. Let's get a picture. So, are your parents here? No. Should we send a letter to Children's Services?
Let's not do that.
We're good? Thank you, Brandon. Kaya Epsley. Hey, Kaya. What happened?
I'm going to ask.
Really? No pitching?
No.
Okay. Was it baseball related?
Yeah, when I was at the bat.
You what?
When I was at the
Allison.
bat, I tore my labrum.
What's that?
I don't know, something in here.
Wow. No ice? What? Oops. How long have you had surgery?
2 weeks ago. My dad.
Your brother's Cameron, right?
Yeah.
Cameron's your brother? He went to school with my son.
Well, so did they, even after you guys are getting so much better.
Because
Ashley Fior? Okay. She from Palm Beach? Lexi. Okay. Caitlin Johnson? Caitlin, you came.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's get a picture. You gotta shoot my hand.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a substantive change.
Hey, you got parents here?
No.
Do you want me to call Children's Services?
No. Okay.
Yeah, you could call it. I don't know if we're going to
Olivia Maish. Hey, Olivia. So, what grade are you in? You're a sophomore, so you're going to be 2 more years. Freshman. Was it hard playing with them?
No, I mean, it made me play better.
Made you play better?
still face to face, right? Someone. I think it is.
You want a picture with her? You? Really ought to retract that. You need to invite her.
Oh, no.
Come on. Cologne Parrot. I love that name. All right, no laughing, you got to smile. Yours here?
Yeah. I don't know what they want. Mom.
Okay, come get in the picture.
Mom.
Allow us to address that one.
So that's your. Yeah. Okay, gotta get this right. Okay, you ready? Let's get you in the middle. You're the star.
That would give us time
So,
to
you gotta be proud. Taylor Roberts.
I pitch in.
You pitch? Yes. How's your shoulder?
Good.
Really? Okay. Is that your mom? Is it Kayla? Kayla starts. You have your speech ready now, right?
No, it's not ready.
5 minutes. That's all I want.
I guess I could whip something out.
Okay. So, like, you were the head of the team?
I was the pitcher.
So they're losing.
Yeah.
Here you go. It's okay. What?
Yeah. My family.
Arkansas? Really?
Yeah.
said what?
I have family who live there, and they gave me a good start. Yeah, and the nursing program is a really good nursing program, and they're allowing me to play softball. Thank you.
I'm showing you that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Like the city. Miami Thompson. Okay, so what do you play?
Shortstop.
What? Shortstop? Yeah? Were you good? You have to be good. You're a champion. How does it feel to be a champion? Are you smiling? So you put her in the picture? So that's your picture? Okay, so how is it? Come here. Cassidy Trumbo. So does that look like it is? Get it out. I gotta take it. You know, the moment will be gone. Give her the purse, give her the cell phone. Check that purse out, see if there's any. That's where we need lead. Run, Mark, run.
And then here's the cell phone.
That's Jasmine Vigilante. Isn't it scary? And look how big they are. What grade are you in?
I'm going to be a junior.
You're going to be a junior. So you got her for 2 years. What'd you play?
I played left field.
Left field? Right here. 1, 2, 3. They're your parents?
Yes.
Think we should take their picture?
Do you guys want to come?
Okay. Hold on a second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
And these are the 4 coaches ending with the head coach.
Okay, and now we have the coaches. Janice Jameson. So was it hard?
Fun.
Right here. 1, 2, 3. Good. Thank you. Kristen Ware. Hi, Kristen. Right here. 1, 2, 3. Jim. Jim Johnson.
That's actually Jerry. He's a trainer. I didn't know he was coming.
You know, we could fake it.
I'll give it to his daughter.
So where is it? Oh, okay. Margaret Neal? Oh, that. Okay, want to do a picture?
Short one's in the front.
All right.
I was already told it, I would tell you guys.
I am short.
All in back, kind of line it up right here. Everybody shuffle about once. You good? You good? Okay. Huh? You want? Vote? Okay. And now we have Barbara Boswell.
Good evening, Mayor Paris, Vice Mayor, council members, and commissioners. It's my pleasure to let you know that the city has received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association. The award recognizes meeting conformance to the highest standards for financial reporting and compliance with generally accepted accounting principles. The city has received this award now for the 30th consecutive year. Similar to the softball team, our award is only achieved with the efforts of a great team. Our team is led by Pam Statzman, the Assistant Finance Director, and Tammy Holliday.
Great segue.
Thank you for that. So I'm very proud of the achievements that we have, and this reflects very well on the city. So
Thank you. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second that?
Let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously.
Abstaining.
Are we supposed
Abstaining. Yes, I was not here for the
Where were you?
previous meeting. Out of town.
With one abstention. Any city manager, anything to be removed from the consent calendar?
No, sir.
Any speaker cards on the consent calendar?
Yes. Motion to approve the consent calendar, pulling CC3.
Second that?
Let's vote. It passes unanimously. Go with her first. Is it Tricia? Okay, do we have who's presenting? Item 3.
We presented last time, Allison can review it if you'd like, or Jocelyn? Jocelyn can review it if you'd like.
Come on down, Jocelyn. I'm old. I can't remember 2 weeks ago. Well, I guess I shouldn't have admitted that.
Again.
You should have seen me when I was young.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Paris, Vice Mayor, council members. At the May 24th council meeting, you introduced ordinance number 1013, which would amend the general business license regulations set forth at Chapter 5.04 of the Municipal Code by adding a new section, 5.04.055, entitled Operational Requirements for Certain Types of Businesses. This new section would, in part, prohibit alcoholic beverage establishments from allowing persons to purchase alcoholic beverages for off-site consumption in less than defined minimum volumes or quantities. City public safety personnel and Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies have reported numerous instances of unlawful activities and conditions occurring at and immediately adjacent to alcoholic beverage establishments where purchases are made for off-site consumption. These include loitering, panhandling, excessive noise, public drinking, public urination, littering, and other activities that constitute a public nuisance. These nuisance activities cause a blight on the community and a drain on law enforcement resources. It has been the city's experience that such unlawful nuisance activities are often the result of persons being able to purchase alcoholic beverages intended for off-site consumption in smaller single servings, for example, a single can of beer, a small airplane-sized bottle of distilled spirits. Under the city's existing laws, any new business wanting to sell alcoholic beverages must first obtain a conditional use permit. Alcohol CUPs impose operational requirements on the newer establishments, including certain limitations on the sale of single serving sizes. Alcohol establishments in existence and lawfully operating at the time the current law became effective were considered to have a deemed approved status, thereby exempting them from the CUP requirements. The nuisance activities associated with these smaller serving sizes purchased for off-site consumption, however, often occur at these deemed approved alcohol establishments. You will recall at the last meeting that Leader Rico reported that there are 47 deemed approved establishments for off-sale consumption. He ran at random calls for service from the Sheriff's Department on 11 of those stores. And in a calendar year, in the last calendar year, there were 235 calls for service at those 11 locations. Most of those had to do with the kinds of nuisance activities that are at issue with this ordinance. The proposed operational requirements set forth in the ordinance would be applicable to an off-sale establishment, regardless of whether it's deemed approved or operates under a CUP. Certain types of off-sale establishments would be exempted from the ordinance, including those containing public space of 10,000 square feet or larger, and those that hold a large brewery, brew pub, microbrewery, or winery license from the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control. The city's experience has been that the purchase of beverages from those kinds of establishments does not typically result in the kinds of nuisance activities this ordinance is intended to address. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. Okay, public comment. Mary Trishelle.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Mary Trishelle. I'm the owner of W.A. Thompson Distributing Company here in Lancaster. I have concerns about the ordinance just in the ramifications of the impact on the retail trade, as well as a loss of revenue for the city with sales tax losses and what have you. I think it needs a little further review.
Do we have any numbers as to what the actual, gross sales in a year are?
I don't have those numbers handy. We can get them, but no.
Has anybody compiled them?
We're in the process of compiling them, Mayor.
Okay, so we don't have them yet?
Not yet, sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
That's my view. I think there are ramifications that maybe need to be reviewed and revise the ordinance. Limiting a 12-ounce can of beer sale is a little bit drastic, in my opinion.
Well, wait a minute. If the choice is public safety versus loss of revenue, I mean, that really isn't a choice
We
at all.
understand that. We understand that.
Well, I'm hoping that you all have come up with alternative solutions. Because let me be very clear of everybody speaking. If the only choice I have is loss of revenue versus public safety, this is a no-brainer to me, and I think it's a no-brainer to everybody in the community. This has become a public safety problem. My only concern, and this council's only concern, is removing that public safety problem. And I think we're open to solutions, other solutions, but we are not open to making a choice. And I don't think you would want me to, would you?
I can appreciate that. I think everyone here knows panhandling's a problem. It's a problem everywhere, not just Lancaster.
Sure.
We'd like to be part of the solution.
Our view of Lancaster is we're different. We're different than every other city out there, and we're doing whatever it takes to rise above all of them. And, I'm open to solutions, but I'm glad you were the first one up, because I think you see that it's a dilemma that needs to be worked out. And turn that off.
That's all. Thank you.
You have always been a tremendous advocate of the city, and I want you to know that we give a lot of weight to what you have to say.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Mary, thank you for your support of the city. Thank you for what you've done in the past and all your support of all the different organizations. We recognize that, and we recognize. Do you have any reasons or better ideas that we could come up with?
I'd like to be part of the process.
Okay.
Been here since 1959, supporting this community.
You are definitely part of the process. All right? Okay. Jack Hanna? I hope you got a solution, Jack.
We're working on it. So, my name is Jack Hanna. I work for my dad at Neighborhood Stop in Lancaster. And I guess my main concern with the ordinance is that it seems that there's a lack of communication and collaboration between the city and the local small business owners. And I think that if our city was under the impression that the C-stores, the convenience stores, were contributing more to vagrancy and homelessness and these other issues, I would have liked, like I said, more communication and more of an effort from both sides to come up with a resolution. And I think that we can. I think that if our city did decide to work with us, we can come up with an effective solution that would involve education and training, educating store owners, and I'm not talking about just convenience store owners. These issues are issues for everybody in Lancaster, all small business owners, all residents of Lancaster. So if we did work together, I think education and training would be most effective, educating store owners and employees on the specific issues, developing responsible measures for safely dealing with the issues. And I have an example. Our store has always had a policy that panhandlers or people drinking outside, any of these people are not allowed to come in and spend their money at our store. So beyond that, we do chase them away. If somebody's outside panhandling, we have cameras outside. We monitor them from behind the counter, and we get to them as fast as we can before they annoy any of our customers and try to lead them on their way. And like I said, if they do decide to stick around, they can't spend their money inside our store anyway, so it becomes pointless for them to stand outside my store. And it's been very effective, and I don't see why it wouldn't be effective in other stores. And we already have actually organizations in place that can facilitate these programs. The Tarzana Treatment Center did a great job of reaching out to all liquor store owners and gas station owners, and they scheduled us to come in for training, us and our employees, and me and my dad loved it. It was free to the store owner, and it gave us an opportunity to send our employees in to get better training on how to not sell liquor to minors. And it was really beneficial. We all learned from it, and I think that this issue is no different, that if we work together, our city, our small business owners, everybody in the community, we can begin to, what was that? So, we can really...
Doesn't that really aid the presentation?
I'm pretty nervous as it is, so it did, but yeah.
Okay, I got it. So, Jack, do you get the city email? We send an email out every couple times a week. Do you get that?
No.
Do you get the city news that we send out every so often?
To our store?
To the citizens. Are you on the list to get it?
No.
And we didn't notify you?
No.
What should I have? Wait a minute, Jack. Should I have delivered it by hand myself, or should I have sent the?
There's a lot of people in here. Somebody could have, not you particularly, but.
No, they shouldn't. Wait a minute.
No,
I want to be clear on that.
Yeah.
No, they shouldn't have.
No.
In this city, you're either engaged or you're not.
Absolutely.
All right? And I have absolutely no sympathy whatsoever for the people that take from the city without being engaged in it. And
I feel the same. I've actually voiced my opinion on that and said that it's part of my responsibility that I didn't know what was going on. And I should be more involved, and I will be after this. So.
That was perfect. Yeah. Did you practice?
No.
That was great. You guys sure you want to follow him? Anyone else?
Okay. Are you aware that the city council made the proposal 4 or 5 months ago?
No.
It went to the planning commission. They had a couple hearings on it. It came from the planning commission, and each time it goes to a different public hearing, and at those public hearings at the planning commission, and then it went to the criminal justice, and they had it for a couple times, and then it came back to the city council, and I'm sure that we're going to hear that we didn't know okay, we didn't know this, but we have held 6 or 7 public hearings based upon this to get everyone's input
Right.
on tell us your concerns, tell us your problems, tell us everything. And now, at the last moment, then it's, okay, these are our concerns. It's not that we're not going to hear them. It's you've neglected the rest of the process. So the city is out there and it's engaging the citizens, not only from the Planning Commission, but at the Criminal Justice Commission, and it's engaging them, and you have the opportunities to speak, and you have the opportunities to speak several times at those. So they held those hearings, and 7 times, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is the 8th time that we've had this in front of us. So it is a process. So, and I agree with the mayor, everyone needs to get engaged and get engaged in your city and see what we're doing. We're not always right, and we might not be right on this one, but you need to get engaged.
I agree.
That's the main thing. If any lesson comes out of this, all organizations need to get engaged with the city.
I agree.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Paris, I have a question.
Yes.
I have question, so there are CUP stores, like, conditional use permit. We opened about lot 3 years ago, or like in that time. And I don't know how they survive. If you saying like you guys can't survive without selling single. But CUP, like they've been from last 3 years, they've been surviving. I don't know how they can do it and you guys can't.
I don't know what their business model is. Maybe they are predicated on selling gas. Maybe it's groceries.
No,
Maybe
some of them, they are market, like just the way yours.
I can't speak on anyone else's business. I could tell you that this would be very detrimental to my business.
Can you ask me, what's the percentage, like when you guys, for single and versus 6-pack or whatever else?
Yeah, I mean, you could speak to our vendors if you wanted exact stats, but we estimate that it's roughly...
We're doing really well there.
Help.
Right. Oh, yeah, I'm here to help, but I would give you an estimate. It's roughly 40% of our beer, wine, and alcohol sales.
Single?
Yes. Single-serve beers and small-size liquor. So fifths, a $7.50, right, and larger, is really dominated by the supermarkets. In the past few years, they've started to aggressively go after those sales and market for them and advertise for them. So our sales are really predicated on small size because it's convenient, and a greater variety. And a lot of the variety comes in small sizes, in 24-ounce cans and so on. And actually, the vendors have noticed this, and they asked to come in and do resets of our coolers that will, lend itself to more sales of small sizes.
But you know what's the biggest problem is, like Mayor and Vice Mayor said, that panhandler, they go out there, they get a $2 or $3, go back walk into the store, and they try to, get a single. But we're trying to control that.
I understand. But I understand that also...
I want to disclose that last week, some of the liquor store owners and microbrewery, they wanted to meet with me. So we did meet with Jason Cottle and then Jocelyn, and also Mark Bizigan came later. So we had a great meeting with them. They had some ideas, and just wanted to disclose with everybody.
So my answer would be that, I mean, if the issue is the single serve, then you're simply moving the problem. If 10,000 square feet facilities are exempt from this issue, I mean, I've never
They have
seen...
security, and they have security cameras.
So have you been to Food for Less on Avenue J?
Yes, I have.
There is panhandling
what I'm saying...
Whoa. We're not going to do that.
My main point is that, I mean, if this was the best solution, it's simply going to move the problem. Because, I mean, I've never seen a tree panhandle if they're going to move to the markets or somewhere else. And I don't think the issue is to move these people. I think it's to I don't want to say get rid of them, but to, have a better long-term solution to they're not a nuisance to the city.
I like your idea about, guys don't sell, and if they come back, you guys refuse to take the business. But I wonder if all the 47 stores does the same thing.
I assure you that they are highly motivated at this point to come up with some other
But how can I assure that? But I mean, I respect what you're saying, and even that day, you gave some good points.
Thank you.
But I mean, not all 11 stores we already have a record.
Right.
And 47 stores, how are we going to get a guarantee they're going to do the same? What do you do? If they do it, then I think we'll be okay. But city trying to control.
I think that there are already measures in place to hold individual locations responsible for their doings. I don't think a blanket solution like this is the answer. I'm responsible. My dad is responsible. We've been operating the city for over 20 years.
So what do we do about the 11 stores that are responsible for the bulk of the calls for service?
Right. I do think that there are laws and ordinances in place that are supposed to regulate an individual's responsibility to their store and their surroundings. So
well, they're obviously not working.
Let's come up with some new ones, me and you, and we'll work it out. Let's come up with some better solutions.
Did you ever play caroms when you were a kid? You know that game?
No.
Caroms is a game we'd play in the park where you hit this little thing and it would bounce off the wall and then hit another one and you try to get it in the pocket, right? Mm-hmm. We're making carom shots with you, meaning we're saying it to you, but we're really talking to the audience.
I understand.
Okay, yeah. So I don't want you to feel abused because we really like you.
No, it's fine. I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm pretty comfortable now, but I think.
All right. Thanks,
so
Jack.
I do think that if we worked collectively, these store owners with the city, we can come up with some sort of policies that these stores will be responsible for upholding on their own property, and beyond that, they'd be responsible. We can't force anybody to do anything, but
no, we can.
Well, I can't.
With this ordinance,
like I said, I'd like to be held responsible for what goes on in my store. We work 7 days a week. I can't have any say over what's going on at someone else's.
Except this. I mean, I understand the position, but I also understand that if we're really going to create a different city, transform this city into something that isn't anywhere else, it can no longer be we take care of ourselves.
Right.
We have to deal with this as a community. And right now we have the attention of the community of convenience store owners. And I'm not going to let it go. Right. I mean, I got you here. You're starting to get engaged. You're starting to get involved. Let's see. We'll work on this.
I would say that homelessness is a really dynamic issue. I mean,
sure is.
You have mental health issues. You have people that are running away from abusive situations. It's very layered, and we do need like a more, more dynamic, I guess, resolution to combat that. So.
Okay. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
You did a great job. Put them on the list. Sam Alshear. Hey, you guys really want me to listen to your lawyer? I mean, it could go bad. No, I know that. I'm sitting here looking at his card.
No,
is all.
Just picked me because I'm the best-looking guy. All right, before we start the timer, I just want you to know, Mr. Mayor, that I really want your job, because where else you stand there and take pictures with beautiful people and all of that stuff. And Mark, I hate to say this to you, but Desert Christian still has a great football team. We've beat you a few times. Anyways, let's get started. My name is Sam Alshear. I've been in the business 37 years. I moved out here in 1983, temporarily, because it was supposed to last only a year, and 33 years later, I'm still here. And this is home. Anyways, I know the intention of this proposition or ordinance is honorable. I do have some concerns, and of course, and I'll address them. But let me just start from the top. In my 37 years of experience, I've seen the industry changed a lot. And I've seen the drinking habits change a lot as well. Those old time where somebody will buy a bottle of scotch and get drunk and that those are dying breeds. However, this industry is changing, and it's changing. It's being different. People are drinking less, more awareness, and they're drinking softer drinks, cocktails, margaritas, small bottles of wine, and all of that. So the industries have recognized that. So what they're doing is they're producing a lot more packages or products in smaller packages. Many of the products only come in smaller sizes. Many wineries only come in small, and the reason being is, I don't know, because of awareness, because of economics, or people not drinking as much. The people that used to drink 12-pack, they're drinking a 6-pack.
We went to rehab.
Yeah, I know, it's great. People are used to drink a 6-pack, they're drinking a 1 or 2 bottles. The issue that I have with the proposition, unless you're really in the business, it's hard to really enforce it in a way where it's going to be effective. And let me give you an example. Many of the products, it's hard to distinguish. For example, there are many products that are a combination of beer, wine. Some of them are a combination of wine and spirit. Now, many of the the malt only come in 3-package, not 4. Many of the 6-packs come in 8 ounces, not 12 ounces. So how do you enforce something like that? How do you educate the clerk to say, what does this qualify? Is this spirit? Is this wine? Or is this beer? Honestly, I don't want my employees to be confused. I just want them to concentrate on making sure nobody underage falls through the crack. So, and how do you enforce this law? I mean, let's talk about enforcement. You enforce it, you go open every case, because some manufacturer will send products in single quantities, some of them in 2-packs, some of them in 6-packs. So how do we enforce it? It's becoming tough to have one consistent policies. I would tell you 15, 20 years ago, it was very simple. There was only, Budweiser, a 16, 12 ounce, Old English, or whatever brand. I don't want to name brands. But it was much easier. But now you got a variety of products that are mixed spirit, wine, this and that. So how do we enforce that? And that's, one of the concerns I have.
We got it.
Now, the biggest issue I have is, and I think Mary could tell you, and she'll be the one to give you better numbers, 30 to 35%, and sometimes depending on the store, 40% are in smaller quantities. People don't want to drink a whole bottle of wine. They want just a glass of Cabernet after work, and that's all we want. So most of our customers are productive citizens. Now, you got the few handful that are, no matter what you do, they're going to be a nuisance. If we tell them you can't buy a half pint or a double shot, believe me, they'll, from experience, they're going to find a way to buy the next bottle, the next size. So what they're going to do, they're going to stay in that parking lot, ask for more money till they get it. They're going to steal, do whatever.
So what about what some of them are doing? Was it Jack?
Jack? Yeah.
They don't serve them.
Actually, that's what I like. But the biggest concern for these stores, if they lose 35% of their business, many of them going to be out.
Yeah, I got that.
And the employees and all of that. Okay, this is what I'm offering. We're
it's
pretty
not a
cheap.
Negotiation.
We're pretty cheap. We don't cost much. I have 37 years of experience. Many of the retailers have a lot of years, some of them, very highly educated. Let's put our heads together and let's come up with a program. Let's educate the clerks, the store owners, and let's tell them, look, you have responsibilities. If you recognize a panhandler, don't serve him. Go out there, monitor your parking lot, clean it, paint your building, don't make it look like an eyesore. There's a lot of things we can do together. But I think we need to also put some responsibilities.
Say that again.
I said there are a lot of things that we can do together.
Like what? I mean, I like what you said. I want to make sure everybody hears this, because you're going to have to live with this.
Absolutely. You know, we've been here for so many years. Our kids grew up here, and they went to great schools like Desert Christian, and Berkeley. But the point is, you know, we all shop here, we all live here, and we don't like to see panhandlers, and it affects our business as well. So what I'm suggesting is, let's implement a program. Let's educate these store owners, these clerks. Let's put some responsibilities on them. Put some cameras, monitor your parking lot, clean it. Don't make it look like an eyesore. I mean, there's a lot we can do.
How about pellet guns? Can we? Okay.
So I know, you know, we want to make sure they take responsibilities. The sheriff department doesn't have enough resources to deal with all of this, and we recognize that. But I truly, truly think Ordinance 1013, it has good, I'm sure was put in there with good intention, but I don't think it's going to really be ineffective.
Okay. Let me tell you where I think, you know, we've been working together a long time now, and I got a feel for where they are. We're not convinced this is the best ordinance, but we are concerned about, we have a criminal justice commission that worked very hard on it. We have a planning commission that worked very hard on it. We've got people volunteering their time whose time is worth a great deal.
Of course.
And they come together and they do this, and this is what they present to us. And then all of a sudden the community, meaning you, is outraged by it, or, well, I don't even think outrage, let me finish.
Yeah,
I don't even
go
think
ahead.
outrage fits. I think everybody recognizes that a problem has gone unaddressed and that maybe this isn't the best way. But we are concerned that why wasn't, and I understand why it wasn't, but it should have been addressed.
Right.
Folks have to be paying more attention than this.
Yeah.
I think Raj is correct that this, you know, this ain't fair, guys. You know, it ain't fair to have all this man hours go into this issue, and then at the last minute you come up and say it sucks. It might suck, but where were you when it was being formed? So with that as the basis, we now have to come up with what are we going to do now?
Well,
let me finish, Sam. Let me
go
finish.
Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
And as the rest of you come up, I would suggest that if you can't address that, stay where you are, because the three people that have spoken now have carried you much further than I thought you would be at this point.
Go ahead.
But I love what you said about doing something that's going to be enforced both internally and externally, meaning by the guys over there with the uniform. See the captain over there? He can be a really mean guy when he wants to.
I can imagine.
Okay.
Well, can I give an example? I know, you know, my time is up, but let me give you a quick example.
It was up a long time ago.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. But the next three people probably won't go up. When I started in the business in 1979, we used to sell a pack of regular cigarettes, Marlboro, for 65 cents.
I used to buy a lot of those. Yeah, go on.
I've never smoked, so I can't tell you. But anyways, over the years, cigarettes have gone up, and people used to say, when it's $3, I'm going to quit. When it's $4, I'm going to quit. And so on and so on. But yet, you know, they're still smoking. Not as much, but not because the price went up. Companies found a way to make generic cigarettes that are cheaper. But what has reduced the number of people smoking was awareness, education. And I think same thing with the alcohol. If somebody is going to drink a 12-ounce beer, and just like raising the price, say, look, you're going to have to drink a 24-ounce beer. He's going to drink it. So are we effectively reducing that problem? Maybe not as much, but I think what's more effective is maybe some awareness, some education, and that's what I propose, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Ian. Of course, you know, there's always the possibility these people would go to the town south of us. I'm just saying.
We like this.
Okay, who's next? Oh, I got to call you, right? Normie Mashor? Thanks.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just want to say to
Welcome.
you guys that we do want to work with the city, and we want to come up with a solution to these problems. If this was a criminal justice matter, we were hoping that we would have been informed during those reforms in the first couple sessions you guys had. For us trying to keep up with the city and the city news, it is tough.
You just got to be on the email list.
No, of course. But you know how many emails I get during a day. I mean, not just me in particular, but everybody. I mean, we do put in 80 plus hours every week. You know, it's a day in, day out job that we do.
So are we talking about the possibility of forming a group of convenience store owners that will have some organizations, some leadership?
Oh, of course. I mean, me and Jack were talking about like a retail association.
And this is something that's going to stay organized even after this one issue is behind us?
That's what we hope we can do.
Okay, I want to be transparent about this. There's two ways to do this. But both of them encompass that organization, working with the city and working with law enforcement. And, you know, remember who we are up here. We don't make idle threats. Once we reach an agreement, that's the agreement. If you agree to fix the stores, clean up the front of it, and get rid of the 1% is what I call it. You know, we put 80% of our resources into 1% of the population. If you agree to that and fail, it's going to be draconian. I mean, the fines and everything will be draconian. Make no mistake, we are going to clean this city up in ways never dreamed of before. And I would suggest you that this is a great idea if we all have the same goal of doing that. And it would seem to me you would want to do that, because these people aren't really, that 1% is not making you a profit, right? And they scare your employees, and they scare me too, and I'm the mayor. We can pass the ordinance and not have it go into effect till January of 2017. And in that time, we can work out an amendment. That's one solution. The other solution is to have you go back to criminal justice, have you go back to planning, and understand that when it comes back up, we're going to vote it in all probability. I mean, we'll discuss it, we'll go through the dance. But if there's not a viable solution by the next time it comes up, we're going to pass it. And it will go into effect immediately. I like this level of community involvement. I really like this idea. I think that, you know, you guys have a reach that if we started working together would be truly beneficial to all of us. I just love the idea. But that's the solutions we're looking at. And I'd like to hear your comments on that. Was I clear? Because I talk a lot.
Yeah, no, that was clear.
Okay.
I mean, just like you said, I mean, us forming an association and trying to get all the retailers, you know, gas stations, all that involved, and we can work with, with criminal justice and the planning commission, and we can be more involved, and we can try and set better regulations and stuff like that, with our employees and.
Okay, you're on the list now.
Yeah.
Okay, put them on the list. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
I could make the motion and get it seconded, and then those that want to speak.
Well, wait a minute, I want to stay with this a little bit. I can keep calling names and see where it goes, and I got to call your lawyer because you never know what they're going to do. I got some experience with that. Or you can let the council discuss this and come to a decision now. I just don't see you making a lot of headway from where you are. You've come a long ways. But ultimately, it's a council decision as to whether or not we enact it, and it goes into effect January 1, 2017, or we send it back now with the drop-dead date of having it come back up and we vote on it. If we extend it to January of 2017, you're going to have more time, because it won't. But The downside of it is if we haven't come up with an alternate solution, it's done. The other way is to not enact it, but your window is going to be a lot smaller. Am I clear where I'm at? Yes. What I'd kind of like to do is take a break and have you guys talk among yourself, and then have a couple people address that issue, and then I'll call the lawyer up. All right? But the reason I'm making the remarks about the lawyer is I don't like to be adversarial with our community. I think that we're gaining a lot of ground by working together on things. You know, like we solved the desert woodlands 2 weeks ago because we came together and worked together. I like the idea of us working together with you. I mean, it will have ramifications far beyond this. And I think you'll enjoy the process. I really do. I think you're going to love it. All right? So let's take a break, let you guys talk. Avery. Where is it? I called the attorney first. He's going to piss me off, and then, you know.
I know.
We ready? We're back. Bart Avery. I know a stacked house when I see one.
I don't know, man. Oh, God. This was a crazy, 15 minutes I just experienced. But anyway, let me try to get back on track here. So, Mayor Paris, Vice Mayor Christ, Chairman, City Council, staff, and Mr. Underpaid City Manager.
That got on the record, right?
It's on the record.
Hey, we should start a pool to see who the most highest paid person in the room is. Oh, you don't want to do that, do you, Mark?
If we include the dais, I do.
My name is Bart Avery, and along with my wife Sandra, my son Brian, Arlie Ermy and his family, we own Bravery Brewing Company, proudly in the city of Lancaster. I have some prepared remarks I would like to read, but I was just approached kind of with an offer. Can I say that? I don't want to, or a solution to this, let's say.
You would not do well in a deposition, but go ahead.
There's probably, how many people in this room want to speak on behalf of the microbreweries here? Just raise your hand. Okay, so I know everybody would, I'm sure still everybody wants to talk, but in the sake of trying to get this resolved, I think there's a solution that was just sort of thrown out there that could possibly work for all of us here, and that is to give us until January of next year to kind of get this fixed, primarily with the liquor stores. The breweries up here, I believe, are not the problem, and I know the city council and the mayor, I believe, believes that too.
But the ordinance as it is across the board.
Well, I understand that.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. If it's okay with you, I know I'm going to blow through 3 minutes here, but if I could read my prepared remarks just real quick, and then talk to the audience.
Nobody's stuck to the clock anyway. Go ahead.
So last September, this council discussed and voted unanimously to appropriate $850,000 in part to help Kinetic Brewing Company build a large-scale production brewery in Lancaster.
You really wanted to tell them that tonight? I mean, you were the only one who got that. Go on.
Okay. Well, during the discussion, Mr. Lawson and Mr. Bazigian and Councilman Mann made the point that Kinetic's new facility will increase tourism, it will create something quite special in the AV, and it will give people a reason to spend an extra day in the city of Lancaster. And I could not agree more with that. And we at Bravery Brewing applaud the city council for supporting our friends and our fellow brewery owners at Kinetic. And that's kind of the way we are in this business. We help each other out. We at Bravery have already done a huge expansion, investing nearly $2 million into a facility that will allow us to produce 25 times more beer than in 2015. At Bravery, we are all in with our commitment to brew great beer in the city of Lancaster. Every bottle we produce proudly states brewed in Lancaster, California. Since the recent opening of 2 more breweries in Palmdale, and the owners are here tonight, we have seen a marked increase in the number of craft beer enthusiasts who make long drives to experience the craft beer scene here in the AV. There is no reason why Lancaster and the AV can't become the next big craft beer destination, and that is a good thing. Just check out Portland, Oregon. Just check out San Diego. It's a good thing. And I see Councilman Mann shaking his head, and I know he appreciates that. Craft beer.
He hasn't been to rehab yet, but that's okay. Go on.
Well, I don't know if that helps the cause here with some of these folks saying that, but Craft beer is exploding in this country, and every day 2 breweries open up somewhere in the United States. But the language in this ordinance is specifically anti-craft, and I'll tell you why. And it would quite possibly affect somebody's decision on whether to build another brewery up here in the city of Lancaster. Under 1013, convenience stores will stop carrying craft beer because the average craft beer consumer will not buy 6 bottles at a time. And bear in mind that craft beer in 22-ounce bottles like ours sells for, on average, between $5 and $20 a bottle.
Of course, I don't have any marketing studies that say that. I just have people saying stuff. So, I mean, it's not, what you're saying isn't valid because I don't have the research to support it.
Which part is not valid?
About who buys what and what the, I mean, it's all very well and good to come in and throw a number out.
Well, I've been selling craft beer.
I get that, but there has to be real marketing research that would show that.
That would show, okay.
And all I'm saying is this is a different council than it's a different council. We really do want to see the best evidence of things before we decide. And that hasn't been presented to us. That hasn't been given to us. But the other thing is you've already won. I mean, in what I tell my lawyers is once you win, shut up.
Yeah. Well, how have we won? I'm missing that.
Because this is what we're willing to do. What we're only interested in now is I can give you a very short window to come up with something, and we'll put this back on the calendar, or whatever we call it. I sometimes get my hats confused. Is it a docket or what is it? Or we will pass it, but it does not go into effect until the first of the year. So that's 6 months to come in with an alternate plan. All of us think that that's doable, but we are unwilling to do it without the involvement of the Planning Commission, the staff, the Criminal Justice Commission, and you forming a group that I know that group is going to be here a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 5 years from now, because that, quite frankly, is the thing that is most exciting to me, is that we have a community group that will actually be involved in improving everybody's business. But the choice is this: 1 month, 6 months. And you guys got to tell me where you want to go, and then we'll decide. But I'm thinking 1 month isn't going to give it to you. But at the same time, I'm not willing to let a controversial issue sit out there on the burner for any length of time. It's destructive to the community when that occurs. I mean, what I believe in is decide, make a decision. So am I clear with where I'm at on it? You've convinced us that maybe this isn't the best way to go. You've also reminded us that you should have been here 6 months ago. So you don't have a lot of sympathy coming from the dais. But what you have is a willingness to work with you. But you have a lot to offer. I mean, together you guys could be a powerful force in the community that we could use in a lot of different ways, and that's exciting to me.
Okay, two points. First of all, I don't know how hundreds of people missed this whole thing, because to be honest with you, the first time we heard about it several weeks ago, man, it was like
we could have done it, and I will give you that.
I don't understand how this many people that are all involved in craft beer did not catch up on that, and
because we didn't knock on your door.
Well, I understand that,
but and I will take responsibility for that. We could have been better at getting the word out.
Yeah.
But you guys could be a lot better about being involved in your city, because it's no longer a city that does things for you. It's a city that we do things together, and if you're not at the table.
Well, in defense of myself, I spent a lot of time talking to Mr. Bazigian about a lot of issues. I'm not sitting on my hands. The bacon festival that was on the boulevard was very problematic in my opinion. I voiced that to Mr. Bazigian. And he's a great guy. He does deserve a raise, but
he makes more than the president.
I think.
He's had a better year too.
The hell? Yeah. I think that I'm not the only guy to make that decision. I mean, to me, that sounds great. I'm all for that. I'm just one voice though here in this room, and I don't know if all these other people want to speak tonight, especially some of the other brewery owners that are here. I don't know if we can all meet, huddle, or talk, or
wait a minute. I just did that. What were you doing? You were gossiping, right? What?
I was talking to Mr. Christ.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to be adversarial to the council, but just as a last statement, we just want to see craft beer explode up here. I think there's a lot of people maybe that don't, but craft beer is a great thing. It really is. It's like Starbucks, man. It's like who thought when you went to Denny's 30 years ago and got a cup of coffee for 30 cents with free refills, anybody would ever stand in line for 20 minutes to pay $5 for a cup of coffee. And craft beer is kind of the same way. And it's exploding, and it's just getting bigger. I just would hate to see this, ultimately, this ordinance go into effect and kind of make this a dry county as far as craft beer goes, because liquor stores would not stock craft beer. They couldn't, because nobody could buy it, because you don't buy a $20 bottle of craft beer and then say, well, I got to buy 5 more of them. That's the only thing I'm concerned about.
It's really going to be up to you guys. You know, if you come up with a solution that's a real solution, and if you come up with a group that's going to continue to be involved, we're willing to make compromises in order to get that. But it's really going to be up to how well you perform. Because I can absolutely promise you this. Once we make a deal, that will be the deal. And we won't go away on it. I mean, make no mistake about that. I mean, I think everybody gets that. I mean, what the heck? I put a drone up in the air, you know. I mean,
well, given those two choices, the 2017 thing works for me.
Good.
And I'm sure it works for, not to hog the mic here, but is there anybody that is opposed to that wants to talk about it? Well, I'm sorry. What's that?
Well, wait a minute. No, I know you're there. Don't. Wait a minute. Oh, what I would like to hear from is anybody that wants us to pass the ordinance. Is there anybody there wanting to do that? Okay. So let me.
You mean as to right now you want to pass the ordinance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Guess what? People can disagree with us.
Okay. I still want that picture, but thank you so much, Mr. Mayor.
They already left. I'm sorry. Can we get the girls back? Thanks. Come on up. Introduce yourself. Let's get it. I guess you can see I'm not as formal as I could be.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name?
I'm Melissa Hanna.
Hi, Melissa.
So I work for Tarzana Treatment Center, and thank you, Jack, for giving us the shout out. So I work for Tarzana Treatment Center, and I'm part of the Antelope Valley Alcohol Prevention Coalition. And it's a coalition, so it's a group. And what we do is we go out in the community, and part of our substance abuse prevention control work with the Department of Public Health, we go out in the community and we go to different liquor stores, we go to different organizations, and we provide responsible beverage service training. So the RBS training that Jack was discussing is what we provide through Tarzana Treatment Center, and we've done everything we could to be a part of that process. We came when Ordinance 1010 was passed, which had also established the RBS trainings as something that is supposed to happen, for lack of better words. We also made a flyer with approval from the city. We are able to put the city's logo on the flyer. We've gone to numerous liquor stores and we've provided this service for free. And we've had just a handful come to our trainings.
They're motivated now.
Yeah, and we're there. I have my cards. We're probably going to be busy now, hopefully. And we're not there to shut anyone down. We're there to educate. We're there to educate, and we go into the liquor stores and we try to help the liquor stores be less obvious, if you will. So we have a few liquor stores that have come on board where they eliminate some of the signage outside. And that is a huge step, just eliminating signage outside. And they have little microbreweries in their, or the microbrews in the facility, and they haven't had any issues eliminating signage. bringing anyone to their facility. So we're there to help. We have the means, we have the education, we have the staffing to educate the community. If you guys want to join our coalition, I have my cards, and we can work together. And
make sure she's in the group.
I gave him my card.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Flores, did you still want to speak?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Javier Flores, and I'm here representing the Prevention Community Council of the Antelope Valley. I'd like to make a couple of comments. First of all, commend you all for the action that you consider taking, that you took at the last meeting, and you're considering taking now. We think it's greatly needed. The second comment I'd like to make has to do with the types of alcoholic beverages that we're really primarily concerned with that's wreaking havoc with our youth. We're not concerned, and we understand that adults have the right to drink just about anything that they want, anywhere they want, and we're not contesting that. Our main concern is with the youth of our communities and what they're being exposed to with the undue concentration of alcohol outlets, number one, and then what those outlets have in their refrigerators. So we think that our communities are being exposed to undue concentrations of outlets. There's no need for it. Something can be done about that. And we think that that's contributing to violent crime and other social maladies. But the product that these liquor stores carry is another problem in and of itself. We're talking about containers that are 24 ounces. I wish I had brought one with me. But Four Loko is one of the products we're talking about. They're flavored like Kool-Aid. We call them Alco Pops for that reason. They're 24 ounces in size, and they have 12% alcohol content. That is like the equivalent to 5 drinks in a 24-ounce container. So a kid 16, 18, 19 years old drinking one of those, that's all they need. One of those is all they need. And that is what they're being exposed to in all of these liquor stores. Go to any of them and see what's there. That's one of our primary concerns, and that's one of the reasons why we're so supportive of this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Anybody else in support of the ordinance? And Mr. Flores, I really appreciate your courage. It's really hard to stand in front of a group where they're all opposed, and I really appreciate the way you handled that. You know, you were totally respectful of a different point of view. I know how hard that is, and very few people are willing to do it, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, now what I would propose is I'm going to go through these names, and unless you have an absolute burning desire to speak, we say that in AA meetings, by the way, I would suggest you not, because I think we've got all we need, and then I'll talk to your lawyer, okay? And I'll try to be nice to your lawyer, but as you can see, we want this to be a community event, okay? Melissa Hanna. She spoke. You spoke? Okay. Jason Zink. Why did I know that?
Well, I want to correct a few things and kind of tell the truth about a few things. First of all, I don't think it's right that the city of Palmdale, Lancaster, anywhere, treats these liquor store owners and convenience store owners like second-class citizens and businesses.
Did I treat anybody like a second-class citizen tonight?
Yes.
One person. The rest of you, are you okay with how we've been treating you?
They provide sales tax revenue to the cities, and they also provide to all the youth organizations as sponsors and stuff like that. So they are a stakeholder in this community. Over a year ago, I went to the Criminal Justice Commission. I emailed Lee, and I told him, why don't you reach out to all these convenience store owners and bring them to the table? They're stakeholders. Why are you talking about their livelihood and not involving them? So for you to get on them for not knowing about it, they pay a business tax. You have their email. You guys can email them. You guys can have Lee go door to door. If these 11 businesses are problems, why don't the city invite them to a meeting like this and talk about it? It just seems like you guys treat these people like second-class people. I don't think it's right. The other thing is, you take a business class over at AV College. It tells you if you don't have alcohol as part of your equation, you're not going to be successful because it pays all the overhead. Also, I proposed over a year ago alcohol, tobacco, and marijuana Chamber of Commerce or Association for Antelope Valley, and that all these businesses could be involved in and raise the standards, have classes like Tarzana brings, and bring higher standards and clean up the areas, and see if we can help treat these people with mental illness. So I just want to set the record straight that the city can be engaged too. It works both ways. And if you're getting paid by all these people with sales tax revenue, I think you owe them a postcard, an email, a visit. If you really care, you need to engage, Mayor. And you need to state that you believe that all 47 outlets should be closed down. I seen you talk to Voss about that. So let's be transparent in that. You guys call yourselves Republicans.
The name is Voss.
Voss. I apologize. You guys call yourselves Republicans.
We've known one another for about 40 years, and I would hope that you can recall that.
Yeah, that's true. You guys call yourselves Republicans, but you want to interfere with everybody's life.
I think you're going to sabotage for everybody.
Huh?
You're sabotaging for everybody here.
Yeah. Well, how would you like if I said you can't serve chicken, you and a man at your restaurants?
What's wrong with that?
Well, because you're cutting 50% of their business.
Okay, time's up. Go back to Palmdale. Everybody who wants to get behind Mr. Zink, do it. See what happens. Go ahead. We are attempting to work with you here. We're not going to be bullied by you. We're not going to be threatened by you. We are attempting to work with you. And that toxic behavior is what keeps people from working together. I mean, what the hell? What is it you would really like from us? To roll over and just not manage the city at all? You got this guy from Palmdale who every 2 weeks comes and gets in our face, and you really think that he's going to persuade us to do anything? If that's who you want to be your champion, go ahead. Go stand behind him now. Let me see who you are, and let me see if that's really what you want us to do. Because I'll do it. Make no mistake about it. I'll do it. All right. Catherine Durden, would you please bring a little bit of common sense back to the room?
Good evening. I'm Kat Durden. I'm actually one of the owners and the COO for She Beverage Company. We are actually a new craft beer company in the Valley. We've really just recently started in the last year. So this ordinance actually does greatly affect us. We don't have a tasting room yet to this day, but our plan is to have one very soon in Lancaster. I actually own 2 other businesses in the city of Lancaster, so I do understand how important it is. And they're successful businesses. We follow the rules. We know the guides. And I have to say I've been in business in Lancaster for 5 years, and I do agree with the conversations back and forth. I have to say, running businesses, it is hard to sometimes get communication, so I do feel like there needs to be one source of income, information for businesses to be able to go to. We did just find out about this, honestly. We just recently started in the last year doing business, in Lancaster for the craft beer industry. We're a predominantly female-owned company, so we're learning this. We're kind of learning the city rules. We're learning all of this, and probably 75% of our business is small. containers. We agree, because we don't have a tasting room, we don't fall at this point like Bravery and Kinetic, so we don't have a place to go to. So the liquor stores and Walmart, who is one of our customers, is selling our product in small containers. So Walmart has our products in single serve along with the liquor stores, but that is predominantly our business in Lancaster. So it would be devastating for us as a company. And being new, it's very hard to be able to come in and just say, hey, eliminate this because the stores are not going to have your product. That would be financially devastating. And we want to contribute to the companies and to the businesses and the community, which we already do. We're currently actively involved.
Do you like the solution we're proposing?
I agree with some of the solutions, and I feel like having a committee, we actually have already discussed and opened up working on an Antelope Valley Chamber or some sort of group to be able to establish one communication for the liquor, craft beer, and other industries. We're actively involved with the Pink Boot Society for Women for craft beer industry. Being a minority and a female-owned company, I think it's important to be able to know these things, and I think the lack of information is detrimental to any company. Liquor stores are craft beer. I do agree with the fact that it can be an issue, and I feel like there are solutions into fining stores, and somebody may not like that, but problem stores. Don't blame everybody across the board that it's going to be a problem. You know what your stores are, you know where your problems are. Let's try and correct those issues and work with those companies, see what we can do to help them, but don't blame everybody across the board. The ones that are trying to be responsible, I feel like should be able to continue working with the community, involve themselves in these committees. I'm at the chamber meetings all the time, regularly. Never heard anything. This is something you have businesses, all these businesses are at multiple chambers, Lancaster, Palmdale, the African American chambers, Greater Antelope Valley. I'm at all of them. And I haven't heard from them. And I'm involved in the community. It is sometimes hard to get to some of these meetings and all of them. And as a business owner for 3 businesses, it makes it even more difficult to try and manage my time to get to them. So one source of information would be great, especially for the city. And you have a community here, 47 stores plus the craft beer industry, which is growing. And we want to be part of Lancaster. We're involved in the charities, the communities. We donate products. We do. We're actually donating to your charities locally. Why not create this where maybe one of the solutions is divert some funds, sales tax funds?
Wait a minute, we're not going to create it. You are.
Well, exactly. No, and we as She Beverage Company want to be a part of this committee.
Obviously I want her in the group. Who are we going to have on staff organize this?
We're going to have the city attorney's office, myself and Jason to start, and then we'll hand it off.
Okay.
One of the things, can I say something though? In fairness, also, we're being given 6 months. There's a lot of people here to get together, and I feel like we all have to compromise on both sides as to what stages. If we can come up with plans and have time to implement, I don't think you're going to see, in fairness, in 6 months, everybody's going to be able to get their buildings painted and everything cleaned up.
No, that's not what I'm expecting.
Well, we just want to make sure, because you're putting it into law.
Let me be clear with what I'm talking about.
Okay.
In 6 months, you have another proposed ordinance that you've worked with planning and criminal justice on that accomplishes the goals. I think I've been pretty clear on the goals that we're setting, right? At the end of the day, that's what we do, is we set the goals. I really,
okay.
But I think it's the rest of the community that has to buy in and work towards them. And that's all I'm asking here. I also think that some of the stores are going to need some help in cleaning up, in painting, and getting them, and we're going to have to find where that help is.
I think some of that also comes from, you're going to have some challenges with that when you're going to have to deal with landlords, because not all of these businesses are owners of their buildings.
I know how to deal with landlords. It's okay.
Yeah. It's going to take time.
That can get done.
I think it'll take time, but I think we can, as a city, come together and do business.
I think that there's a real positive thing here that we can create. But it's really going to be up to you to keep the toxic ones out. One toxic person can anchor us all down where no movement has taken place. The thing I'm really proud of was was it the last meeting where the Desert Woodlands, or 2 meetings ago?
2 meetings ago.
2 meetings ago, we had a similar group upset about the Desert Woodlands. We did the same thing with them. Within 2 weeks, they found the money to buy the property they were talking about. I mean, it really is an incredible thing when we all come together and work towards it. I think this will be better for everyone. And quite frankly, I had no idea that some of the stores were 40% of their business was determined by that. But I also want Tarzana treatment involved in this too. I want this to be a community effort to solve, and the problems to me are everybody knows what they are. It's that 1% of the people that are a nuisance and a threat to other people. And for you anarchists out there that think I should stay out of it, I'm sorry, that ship sailed. It is my job and their job to protect 146,000 people in this city, and we take it very seriously. And if you come together with us and work towards that goal, I think we'll all be happy. But again,
I think the vast majority of the business owners here can speak and say, we're not happy about it. Do you have a choice? Honestly, probably not. I mean, it's being given to pretty much, it's a take it or leave it kind of situation. I know versus just leaving it and walking away from our business, our company is committed to making it work, as long as the city is also willing to work with us and not just have a preset. I understand your goals, but also work with us and allow us as business owners to come in and figure out some of these things and give us an opportunity and be flexible with us on some of our, our commitments and some of our suggestions on what we can do for the community.
What I would like to see is that I never have to see you again.
Well, that would be great. Sometimes.
No, seriously. I mean, that
Chamber meetings would be nice for maybe the city council members. I know some of them I see, I go to them, some of them don't come. Maybe communication too, even to some of those. I know it sounds silly.
We could do a better job of communicating with you, but now that I know you're all working together with us, I think we're going to want to.
Definitely.
But, the secret to a community that thrives is small groups that are empowered. And I totally get that I have to empower you for you to have some skin in the game. And we're willing to do that.
That's pretty much it I think on our behalf. I think we're
okay, good.
I think we're committed. We're here. We want to be on the board and be part of it, and not just sit back and say we'll take whatever you give us, or take whatever somebody else decides.
I don't want you to do that. I do want you to keep those rabble rousers from Palmdale. Thanks. Okay, Brian Avery. Burning Desire. Oh, that's Brian Avery. Hold on to that name.
Yeah. All right. Mayor Paris, Vice Mayor Christ, council members, staff. A lot has changed in the last 3.5 hours that I've been here. I had this speech. A lot of it's been covered. I've developed some new talking points to kind of go over, but so you guys are acknowledging that it's a 1% to the 99% kind of thing, that we're not homeless people, panhandlers, loiterers, vagrants, public drinking, that happens everywhere. Lancaster Boulevard, which is a shining example of socioeconomic gentrification over the years, turning a really downtrodden area of the city into a place that a lot of people want to go to now, still has a very serious issue with loiterers, with panhandlers. Every time I'm on the boulevard, practically, I get panhandled, and there's not a single establishment on that whole strip that can legally sell single-serve alcohol containers. I know this because I tried to sell some of my wares, my 22-ounce bottles, to the liquor store that's down towards Sierra Highway, and they said, sorry, we cannot sell single-serve alcohol containers. I don't get how, if there's 47 liquor stores and there's 11 problem stores, that the majority is going to get punished for the minority.
Brian, let me correct you on that. We'll give you extra time. But they took a sample of the 47. They took a sample. They just pulled 11 of them to take a sample. So they didn't have the time to do everything. So if you want to extrapolate that number out, there's 47 approved, and 11 of them had 235 calls. So each store has about 22 calls per store. So if you look at everything, there's a little over 1,000 calls per year for that. And when you understand that the service that we have is each deputy cost us, it doesn't mean that that's what the deputies earn, but they cost us a little over $300,000 for the deputy. Now we have 1,000 calls that go out. We're spending millions of dollars on this for it to take place, for us to correct the issue. So when you're looking at the tax base, the issues, and how it works, it doesn't equate to the calls for service. So we're trying to fix it. We're trying to tweak it. And that's the whole thing that we're trying to do here, is we're not trying to tell anybody what to do or what not to do. We're trying to tweak so we can help the problem. We won't fix the problem yet. We're just trying to help the problem.
Well, I guess my issue is that the ordinance basically implies that this is maybe not the root cause, but a cause of panhandling.
Let me chime in, okay?
Okay.
We're very comfortable with problems that have one solution. They're called Mount Fuji problems. You know, what's the average best, and that's what we go with. But what we're dealing in a city, it's complexity. And with a complex problem, you make one change here and something's affected over here. And you fix that and it's affected over here. And the reason you call them complex is it's very difficult to solve. And they can only be solved by a community cooperative effort.
Correct.
So that we can get all the input in. That wasn't available to us here. And maybe it was our fault because we didn't reach out. But now what I'm seeing, it is available to us. We can have everybody involved so we can foresee where the problems are going to be and come up with the best solution for what we call it a dancing landscape for that type of problem.
Yeah.
And I think we all get that, don't we? We're all buying in. I want everybody who wants to move the ball forward to be involved. Everybody who wants to say, no, he can't do that, I would really suggest you stay home. You know, I mean, I don't know how to say it any other way. We are not here to preserve the status quo. We are here to improve the city. And so let's take this all together and improve the city and hopefully improve your business, because that might be something we should be looking at on the boulevard. Marvin has done an amazing job of bringing money together to move the homeless. And as soon as that happens, I think we're going to all see a much better situation for our business. But I can't imagine having homeless people out in your parking lot urinating helps your business. I mean, why would anybody want that? I don't think anybody wants that. So let's figure out a way. Fair enough?
Yeah, this is obviously very dear to my heart. It does affect my business. A lot of the liquor stores that are here could potentially put them out of business if this ordinance went through.
And I don't want to see that happen.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, hey, you have faulty...
I don't want any more liquor stores, but I don't want to put anyone out of business either. No?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough?
Fair enough. I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Steve Kinsey. Steve, is this a burning desire?
Only mildly.
Okay.
I'll actually try to set a record here for speed, and maybe we can set the pace, get it moving forward. Mayor, Council, thank you for the time. I just wanted to, I am, first of all, Steve Kinsey, co-founder of Kinetic Brewing Company. I believe my business partner, Merrill, is also going to speak here briefly. I do want to speak real quick from the voice of the Los Angeles County Brewers Guild. I am a board member for that. And I just wanted to say that there are, I think, are some options out there that you may not be aware of. And I just want to make sure that the council is aware of them. First of all, Assembly Bill 2082 is on the floor right now. And that is something that's going to give more teeth to the ABC to allow you to go after some of these situations. I see the biggest problem is the deemed appropriate or the deemed approved, because I know if these places had conditional use permits, that you'd have a lot more leverage with them, and it's the deemed approved that you have problems with. So I think that Assembly Bill 2082 might give you some more teeth, and then also I know there are business and professions codes that are out there in the state that state, and there's something like 2,400-ish, it's in the low 2,400s, that talks about nuisances. It talks about these exact issues. Mm-hmm. So I know that there are laws that are out there that allow you to pull people's permit. I mean, pull their ABC license, and that to me seems like the best way to go about cutting the grass or taking the weed out. Is take the weed out by the root, not by the top. Don't cut off the go after the root of the problem is what I'm trying to say. So
I got it.
And with that, I will actually urge anybody, if you don't have a stake in this race or a horse in this race, to, if you're, I don't know.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So
I
I know there are
appreciate
options
this
out there,
very
and please put me on that list of people to talk about this.
Matthew Luker. Now, you do have a burning desire. I've been watching you.
Yeah, I came ready to talk. So my name is Matt Luker. I'm from Transplants Brewing in Palmdale. We've been open since January. We're not bottling or canning yet, but this affects our friends and it affects our future. I've heard almost everyone that got up here tonight be challenged with being engaged. I actually went on the website and printed out every single agenda since the beginning of the year, and the first mention of Ordinance 1013 was on the May 24th meeting. It references some comments made on the February 23rd meeting. The council does not post minutes on the website, so there is no way to look at the minutes or be engaged with any of those minutes. They are not on only the agendas, not the minutes.
No, our minutes are up. We may have to make it easier to find, but they're on there.
I went to the past meetings, and there's multiple columns. There's an agenda column.
Okay. Matthew, you're also
right.
Wait a minute. You're also missing the agendas for the Criminal Justice and the Planning Commission, and that's how it gets to us. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of community involvement. Each one of those commissions have 7 members of the community on it. But I will agree with you. Well, you're in Palmdale. You're not going to get notified. But everybody else, we could have done a better job of notifying you, and that's something we're going to work on internally to make certain that doesn't happen again. Okay.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're all expected to check all of those different agendas, or those are in this email list that I've heard so much about tonight.
No, of course not. But you get my drift. I'm just kind of, I want people more involved. It'll be a better city if they are.
And as someone else mentioned, I think that goes both ways.
That's true.
Another thing I heard asked was if you've treated anyone as a second-class citizen tonight. And I heard Bart Avery challenged to give data when he brought up some points. And when Mr. Flores spoke, you didn't give him the same challenge or hold him to the same standard. So that just brings to question whether there's a bias when you don't ask people to back up their data on both sides.
Well, let me answer that. There probably is, in that I know that Mr. Flores has the data. I mean, those guys really work this stuff up. It's a passion of his. Some of what he proposes I agree with, some of which I don't, but I've never found him to be uninformed and to not be able to give me the numbers. And, I understood you didn't actually have the research when I said that. Maybe that wasn't fair. At the same time, though, I think that all of us ought to be, when we do this, when we attempt to accomplish this, let's really pay attention to the numbers and see exactly the impact it's going to have before we go down the path. Okay?
Absolutely. And I mean, if we were having a conversation about how it's about panhandling and safety, and then somehow it turns into this is about underage drinking. So I don't know which it is.
It didn't become underage drinking with me.
No, when Mr. Flores was speaking, that's what it became.
He's got a point.
I also wanted to point out that I actually reached out to him almost 2 weeks ago so that we could all talk together as a group and have a conversation, and just didn't get a response. There was no willingness to talk. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Luker. Merle McClernand.
Long day.
It really is. I'm getting tired.
Okay, so 60 seconds.
My wife tells me when I get tired.
Set it for 60 seconds. Council, thank you for hearing me
take
after
them up,
this.
60 seconds. Let's go.
I'm going to say something unique.
Okay.
I don't think your ordinance is broad enough.
I'm listening.
I think we're targeting.
Give him 2 minutes.
I think we're targeting. I think we're targeting a specific product instead of the behavior we're trying to prevent. Let's go right after business licenses. Let's go right after the responsibility of each business to control who uses their business. If I'm selling my beer to somebody and they have a problem, I'll withdraw the product. I have no problem doing that. I think the solution is approaching the behavior itself. And if it means a small business has to invest more in security percentage-wise, then so be it. I have seen liquor stores that are very small, very well managed. I've seen breweries. We train like crazy, right down to the last server, right down to the dishwasher. How do you ask somebody to leave? Well, you do it. but there's a right way and a wrong way. So I think we really need to focus on training, information, and then the stick. Take away the business license if they can't do it right.
You know, when you talk about taking away somebody's business license, you're talking about making their family homeless oftentimes. And that should be the last resort. And what I'm seeing here is a cooperative thing developing. And maybe a way to do it is to have a group come together and employ the security guards that rove. I don't know. We're going to be pretty open to any solutions the group comes up with. But before, I start advocating yanking licenses, it's got to be, I've said enough.
So as a Boulevard Association member, we have tried to fix the boulevard, and we are not going to stop. It takes people, it takes effort, and it takes training, so we need all of that.
I agree with that.
So let us know what we need to do, and we'll participate.
Thank you. Brian Schmitz. 1 minute, 2 minute, or 3?
Oh, I don't know. Let's go for a full 3, I suppose.
Okay.
I'll try to make it quick, though. Thank you for your time. My business is in Palmdale, so I'll give you just facts because I may not be taken seriously in this crowd here. So let's just deal straight with the facts. The ABC is who governs all of our license to deal in alcohol as a producer or seller or anything having to do with alcohol. Business and Professions Code 24200.1 of the Business and Professions Code states that the ABC has the power to discipline a licensee, quote, that does not take reasonable steps to correct objectionable conditions on the licensed premises, including the immediately adjacent area that is owned, leased, or rented by the licensee. Therefore, multiple complaints equals calls to the ABC. It's only going to take a certain amount of time before the ABC comes and takes action. Mayor, you said that you don't want to make people homeless, and I completely agree. That just exacerbates the problem. So take the blood off of your hands, put it on the state. They're going to fund it. They have rules already in place to take care of this.
You know what I've learned from being mayor? Don't rely on the state. Don't rely on the county. Don't rely on anybody. We're on our own, and we need to approach this as a community problem that the community solves. And every time I've relied on the state to help, I almost think there's an illusory state out there, because rarely do we see their help.
I've had fantastic results with the state with our business, so
maybe they like you better than me. I can see why they don't like me.
I'll abstain. Lastly, and with all due respect, I would just like to point out that regardless of the amount of time invested in the process of getting to this point, it would be pointless to have this meeting if we didn't have the chance to speak up and put something on the right course that's going to prevent less damage. So without that, if it's just a take it or leave it, or if it's just a you should have been here before if you wanted this to be different, then there's really no point to have this at all. So I just wanted to recognize the fact that we do have the right to come here and speak and set it down a different course. And that's the whole point of the public forum.
You got that an hour ago.
Well, we didn't necessarily win. You're saying, okay, we're still going to pass it with a twilight, right? Yeah. But something has to happen within those 6 months, and if it doesn't, and that's obviously going to be per your discretion, then we're stuck with it. So that's all I'm saying. I appreciate your time.
I find
Thank you
people work much better with deadlines.
Yeah.
Lindsay Carpenter. Okay, so why am I scared all of a sudden?
Oh, you shouldn't be.
Okay.
I'm here to talk about the communication of this all, and mostly I want to ask a question. So say if we did want to be here on the first day, where would we find that information? Because it seems like most of us that learned about this ordinance, we heard it probably on social media. Anyone that heard this ordinance from the city, raise your hand. So who found out about this ordinance from social media? Okay. Who found out about it from a friend? Okay, at least we have some hands up. So obviously, our communication is changing within the community, and we need to adapt with that. So if I were this business and we first started, where would I find it? The newsletter? Yeah, where would I find this?
You would find it, well, first in traditional media, it was covered, I think, once or twice in the Antelope Valley Press. The Planning Commission, virtually everything goes through that, so the agendas of the Planning Commission are posted. They also have a study session, so essentially there's twice a week on that.
And that's the Antelope Valley Press.
No, that's on the Planning Commission, I'm sorry, agendas on our website. Same thing for
Website.
criminal justice and for the council. Additionally, and I agree with the mayor, and I take that, I think he's being kind. We could have communicated better, so I appreciate that. We are fixing that. You also have an organization, I'm assuming, which is a brewers organization regionally that you belong to. And candidly, business organizations you belong to should be able to as well, too. We could communicate better on our end, and I think the mayor said that.
Yes, and I just want to say, as we go forward in trying to handle this, I think you should probably start using different channels. We got about, what was the number, Brian? 40,000 within this last week, just talking about this ordinance. And this has been going on for about 5 months.
40,000 what?
40,000 views. 40,000 people saw this.
Did you put my commercial on it?
No. That's the great thing. There's no advertising. It was just on Facebook. It was just a different channel. So what I'm suggesting is maybe as we go forward, we need to start using different channels and we'll get more of this outcome. Because I'm sure everyone's kicking themselves in the butt for not seeing it, but communication's a two-way street. That's all. Thank you.
You know, that's an idea. You know, if we could figure out a way to take the primary Facebook pages in the community, I mean, for all the different groups, and target an ad on those whenever we have something of significance. I mean, something to work on. I like that idea. Yeah. So are you going to help the city do that?
Yes, I do have a bachelor's degree in communication from UC Santa Barbara.
Okay. You went to Santa Barbara?
Yes.
So did I.
They had single bottles there.
When I was at Santa Barbara, I drank a lot of those bottles. As a matter of fact, he still does. Yeah, wait till you lose your prostate. I guess that was too much information. Heather Brody. Brody?
Hi.
Hi, Heather. How are you?
I'm a tiny fish in this game, but I just wanted to speak a little bit about something that everyone hasn't really been talking about. I've been living in Lancaster for 6 years. When I first moved here, I moved up here from down from the Los Angeles area where I volunteered a lot with the homeless. When I first came up here, we were in a little bit of a crisis because there were issues with the homeless, our homeless shelter not being funded, or there were issues that vagrants were coming up basically from Los Angeles. I guess we're really popular here in Lancaster for having a great homeless shelter. So a lot of people were getting on that Metrolink and coming up here and trying to abuse our resources here. So our homeless population has grown exponentially. I've volunteered with a lot of the churches in the area, dealing with a ridiculous amount of families and people coming up here lost their jobs, trying to find somewhere to eat, somewhere to stay. I remember we had that overflow shelter over there at the fairgrounds. This is a huge issue. You know, I'm really glad that we got all these people here and involved talking about the homelessness in our area because this is a huge problem. And these panhandlers and vagrants aren't all looking for alcohol. Some of them are really just looking for food. I worked on Lancaster Boulevard for about 3 years with one of the local businesses, and I was physically attacked by panhandlers several times. And like they were saying earlier, we don't sell single-serve alcohol there. And while I'm really excited that we're talking about this. I'm excited that you guys are putting forth laws to try and deal with these vagrants. I think we're kind of treating a little bit more of the effect than we are dealing with the cause. And the cause is the incredible influx of homelessness in our area. So I'm super excited that we have committees going on to deal with the alcohol version of it. I think we also really need to put a lot of time into dealing with the homeless issue. The large amount of homeless coming up here from Los Angeles, the large amount of homeless trying to find somewhere to stay that we can't fund to keep anywhere. That should be really, I think, where we're focusing more of our ordinances and issues in the future, is not only dealing with the panhandlers, but also dealing with why we have panhandlers, where they're coming from, Can we take these people and find some kind of community initiatives to get them on a road to finding employment, putting back into our community? You know, we have all these businesses, these liquor stores and other places opening, these small businesses, the craft brewery that's exploding in our area, that's going to create more jobs. Well, let's see if we can get some of these vagrants that are causing issues who are living on our streets and get them into some of those positions, have them putting back into our community, see if we can find this huge issue that we have with homelessness and make it work for our community. I think that's something we should also be focusing on. And I just wanted to be that little fish who jumped that in here and put that in here, along with all these businesses and communities. So thank you for listening.
That was great. Thank you. Lupe Rose, or was that you? No, that was you.
Lupe?
Yeah, Lupe?
She was with Shibir, so I think they left.
Oh, okay. Adam McCullough? You leave? Okay. David Haberman?
I'll pass.
You leave?
He passed.
I'll pass.
Oh, you passed? Thank you. Now, Bruce Evans. Welcome. Sort of.
Thank you.
Okay. So what do you think? You think it's a solution?
I thought it was great. I
Okay,
thought it
good.
was great. Also a UC Santa Barbara grad, by the way.
I'm sorry, what?
Also a UC Santa Barbara grad.
Hey, he's got to be okay, don't you think?
So,
when did you graduate? You guys sure about this guy?
What? So, 93.
93, yeah, that was a little after me. Yeah.
So I thought the meeting was great. Thank you on behalf of our clients. We represent a number of retailers here. Our clients are not aligned with Mr. Zink. They generally don't know who he is. I don't know who he is, despite the fact that we were sitting next to him. I think Jack set a nice tone, and we represent Jack and his dad. And those businesses, I think it's clear, they do want to work with the city. They understand that it's more effective, cheaper for them to work with the city than to hire lawyers. That's not the position that they want to be in. So we apologize that they weren't aware of the ordinance. We just became aware of it. I did provide some correspondence to the city attorney of the legal issues and objections that we would have to the ordinance. But that's not the most important reason not to pass it tonight. The most important reason is because you now have their attention. They're here. They are committed to working with the city. And if you don't pass it tonight, the city does have a very effective remedy and tool in the deemed approved ordinance already. So I would tell our clients, I would tell all the other businesses that the city has the inherent power to abate nuisances. That might be to impose a single sales restriction on a particular business, if that's the answer. You can do that now. So the choice tonight is not public safety or no action.
Is that accurate? Can we do a target businesses with that? Not that you're not accurate, but, you know, I got to...
I would want to look into it further, but I believe we can.
You have a well-crafted, deemed approved ordinance on the books now, section 17.42, I believe, of the municipal code. The courts of appeal, what they've said is that you can't impose a blanket, outright restriction across the board, restricting a product for a grandfather business. But
You went to Santa Barbara, you get some more time.
But you can have a deemed approved ordinance like you have now, and if you give a business notice, if there's a bad operator in this town, and they are not responsive to the city and they are causing a nuisance, you can make them have a security guard, you can yank their deemed approved status.
Do I have to have hearings, or can we just do it? You know, that Constitution. Go on.
But cities do it. Many cities do that quite effectively. And if anybody called me and said, we got a letter from the city that says we are a nuisance, and they've got this many calls for service at our business, and the police are having to respond this many times, and they want the business to do X, Y, and Z, I would tell that business, you better do it. I can help you far more working with the city than I can fighting the city in court. That's reality. So as a practical matter, we would ask that you not enact this ordinance tonight, because if you do enact it, even if you table it for 6 months and say it's not going to be enforced, that would trigger the time to start running. We'd have 90 days to submit a challenge. We don't want to do that. So we think there's a lot of other options in place here that the city has the power. Absolutely, these are legitimate, serious concerns that the city can address, I would hope, in partnership with the businesses. But if some businesses don't come to the table, and I'm sure there are those who will not get with the program, you have a way to deal with it right now, and you will in 6 months if you enact some other ordinance. But we would ask you not to enact this one tonight, because it would put us in an adversarial situation that I don't want to be in, and I don't think our clients want to be in.
Allison, can I close the public hearing and not reopen it and call the vote in 2 weeks?
Yes, another option with the concern about the statute of limitations is we can always stipulate to agree to a tolling agreement, as you well know, Mr. Mayor, to extend the statute if that was their concern with regard to the 90 days after passage, if the council were to elect to pass tonight.
Suitable?
A tolling agreement is a good idea, and we've certainly done that with other cities. I think if your city attorney looks at this ordinance, I think she will see legal problems in it. I think the city has legal...
I get that, but I think we're kind of past that.
I agree. I agree. But I think the city does have powerful, effective, efficient means to deal with the nuisances. It's just not that this ordinance is not the best way to deal with that. But we've certainly done tolling agreements. If there's no other choice, that's a viable solution to give everybody more time.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
By the way, that was the best lawyer's presentation I've seen. Every other one was waving a red flag and, treating us as if we're the bull, and we promptly gave them what they wanted. This was really good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, is that everybody who wanted to speak? Have they spoken? All right, public hearing's closed. Council, what do you have to say? Also, Jim? Yes. Sheldon, I want you to take part in this discussion. I don't really have, I'm willing to go either way, but let's hear what you guys think.
Can we make a motion and then discuss the motion?
Sure. I guess that's how you're supposed to do it.
Okay. I'll move that we approve CC3. We hold off implementation till 1/1/17 with the tolling agreement.
I will second that motion.
Okay. It's been made and seconded. Now let's have the discussion. But like I said, I want you guys involved. I want to hear what you have to say, okay?
Oh, if I may, I'll open. There's a lot of information that was brought to light here. There's a lot of education for myself. I spent a lot of time reading the ordinance. I spent a lot of time researching the ABC laws, the ABC regulations. But I wish I would have had that information when we were actually discussing the ordinance itself. I'm glad that the mayor did what he did and brought the community, gave the community an outlet, a venue to create and come back with some meaningful suggestions to the ordinance. I think it's beneficial. I think it's very good.
So, what do you think we should do?
I like the path that we're on right now, which is I liked the idea of the 6 months hold in order to bring some more information to the table and then bring the conversation back to both planning and criminal justice.
Thank you. Anyone else? Jim?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
See, I always go to the older guy so I can get his wisdom. Yeah.
That's Ken.
Oh, come on. Jeez.
Do you know, Mr. Mayor, that today is the 242nd birthday of the United States Army? I, as a veteran, would know that. 241st, because I am old. I'm not that old, but I'm older than you.
Really?
Yes. But I still have most of my teeth.
Hey, they're caps. They're not false.
You know, when the Planning Commission took up this issue, it was in an advisory role and a recommendation. Our view as a group, as planners, our basis of knowledge are the existing ordinances, and our method of approaching this issue and these problems are grounded in that. Our grounding is with the conditional use permit process and how we regulate new applications. It was pointed out, and I believe I mentioned this at one of our city council meetings previously, when this issue was suggested by a council member in the first place. That's how it came to us in the first place, as you all recall. The discussion of new applications, we've never had, at least in the last 8 years that I've chaired the commission, an application for a quote liquor store. We have not had one. And the closest thing we've had were convenience stores, and of those, none of them have been approved for the sale of alcoholic beverage spirits. Beer and wine, yes. Do we restrict size? Do we restrict fortified wine? Do we restrict those kinds of products which have high potency in small quantities? Yes. And we do that at the direction of this council. And unless and until we're directed otherwise, I think that's where you want us to be. That's where the majority of our members are. But we consider every application fairly and without prejudice. Beyond that, I really don't have a heck of a lot to say. As Sheldon mentioned, there was some new information provided tonight that I'm not aware of. My sense of the microbrewery operation, they were exempted from this ordinance in their own operation. However, were we aware that they're marketing their product, in effect wholesaling it to retailers, if I can put those words on the table? No, we weren't aware of that. So is there a solution to address that? Probably. I think we can take that up. But it's a complicated issue, and I would, support bringing, you've asked us to make recommendations on the ordinance. I think our recommendation stands unless you send it back to the commission and all 7 members would take it up again. We may come up with a different decision. I can't speak for the other 6 members.
Well, if we pass the motion, it comes back to you to amend it, which is a more difficult process, isn't it? Or is it?
Well,
I'm asking city attorney on that one.
I'm sorry.
If we're going to amend an ordinance, we have to go back through the same process essentially as
So
we
it's
did.
the same
It's the
process
same
either way.
process, yeah.
Okay.
So,
do you have a preference?
Do I have a preference?
Well, you're the chairman of the planning commission. Do you have a preference?
Well, I think representatives from the Planning Commission, Criminal Justice, the city staff, as Mr. Bozigan pointed out, and of representative members of the various affected parties, we can certainly meet and confer, and we're not limited by the Brown Act. We can have very open, friendly discussions in whatever venue is suitable. I'm up for that, certainly. And whether it's me personally or other members.
What I'm asking you is, do you have a preference of us passing the ordinance?
No, I would support passing the ordinance, yes,
Okay.
with
the 6-month
caveat
provisional?
that it would not go into effect until January 1st, 2017, notwithstanding what the attorney represented, because I'm not
Wait a
clear
minute,
on what he
leave him
said.
alone. He went to Santa Barbara, we're tight, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I just have a question. The tolling action, how does that figure in?
We agree that there's no statute of limitations on that. We're not going to.
What I understood the motion to be, and I would have clarified before we went to a vote, was that I would be directed to enter into a tolling agreement with the affected parties such that they would have 90 days after the effective date of the ordinance within which to challenge it. And I understood the motion to be to have the effective date of the ordinance under the motion presently on the floor to be January 1, 2017.
Correct.
Did I get that right?
Correct.
Excellent.
So effectively 9 months versus the 6. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
I tend to think that the January 2017 date is fair. That would give 6 months to bring together a committee and along with the Criminal Justice Commission and planning to come up with a solution that is viable for both parties and the members of the community. So that's how I'm reading.
Okay. Anyone else?
I will, just real quick. It was never our intent to target the craft beer. Okay, it was never our intent. I thought it was excluded from it. I didn't know that you were selling the products elsewhere. You are not part of the problem, okay, as far as I'm concerned. So you're not part of the problem. You can be part of the solution. We're trying to build a solution for the entire city. So understand that we're not targeting anybody. We're not targeting alcohol. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to clean the city up. So I just wanted to make it clear to you that it was never the intent that we target the craft beer. That's why we explicitly wrote in there that you were exempt from it. I was unaware of the other products that you have, and hopefully that we can correct that problem. So that's all I wanted to say. You had a gentleman, Jack, talked about being highly motivated. I think with the 6 months, everyone can be highly motivated. The city can be highly motivated. But I really appreciate how everyone came in and worked as a group, and everybody sat down and, there's a solution here somewhere. And, we've came to that solution that we're going to fix it. Hopefully you guys are highly motivated and we can move forward.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. So we're going to vote in a minute. And I guess you can get a feel like I have of where it's going. Mary, I want you to take the lead, if you will, within the group. I want you to work with Jack and Sam to come up with the rest of the group with the city. And I want you to move fast. You up for that? Okay. I'm sorry, what? Come down, I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Under the guidelines, she can as a retailer. She has certain guidelines.
Under the guidelines, what?
Can't pay to play. I have guidelines that I have to follow with alcohol beverage, which
Really?
regulates my business. So I will be honored to be a part of the process as long as there's no conflict with a retailer that violates my license.
Okay.
I think everybody in the alcohol business understands where I'm at.
All right.
Okay.
I want you to weight it with women because they tend to get things done better.
Thanks a lot.
when we have situations like this, otherwise I find that it slows down. You guys, you don't care who the captain is, just so long as it gets done. With men, let the ship sink just so long as I'm the captain. Yeah, I mean, seriously, am I wrong about that? Yes. What? Okay, but I'm the mayor and I get to decide those things. So, Mary, you got what I want? You up for what I
The
want?
group is fine with me. I'm fine.
Okay. So, who are you putting on the city in charge of this?
As I said, Jason and I are going to start. We're going to hand off Toy, who's a woman.
Toy's gonna
likely
do it?
to be the
Okay.
person that gets the handoff.
All right. And Raj, you want to work with them?
Sure, definitely.
Okay, that's the group. Let's have, within 30 days, at least an outline of where we're going. Let's try to get this done in the next 90 days tops, where we have a comprehensive plan that deals with it all. Not everybody's going to be happy. Hopefully not everybody's going to be sad. But let's deal with this problem. I want people to quit urinating in the parking lot, panhandling in the parking lot, being a public nuisance, and making us an undesirable place for people to go, which is, I'm sure, what you want too. In the process of this, though, I also want to figure out the stores that are struggling, how do we clean them up? How do we help them revitalize? We might as well do it all at once, all right? You guys are actually in an incredibly good position. We're not approving any more stores, it seems like. You got a captive market here. Deal with it, respect it, love it. Hold on to it. You don't have new people coming in and trying to take your customers. It's really a good place to be if I was in your type of business. All right? And so, Toy, good luck. The hardest problem that we've had in many years is your first problem. We're going to find out what you're made of. All right. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, every time we tell someone to leave the property, he said, that's not your property, this is the city property, I'm standing in the city property. What are we supposed to do?
Well,
We can't do anything for them.
I like the pellet gun idea, but that's one of the things we're going to have to resolve. The sheriff's department's going to be in it. We're going to figure out a way to have a response so that you're not in danger in dealing with these people. But I want it so that it's procedural, and we know, bang, we do this, and it just takes care of it that way. And we're certainly capable of doing that. And let's have some fun doing it.
With our assessment district that covers that, we'll have dedicated cars.
We got an assessment district we're going to be putting in front of people. We'll have dedicated cars for that. This thing could work. Okay? All right. Let's vote. Passes. 6 months, you guys. Thank you. Let's take a break. What's up? I want to go home. I'm tired. And I get cranky when I'm tired, and you all know what that's like. All right. What are we, PH1? Any speaker cards?
No speaker cards. Move to waive the, or you got to open the public hearing.
Open the public hearing, close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
I'll move that we accept PH1.
Second that. Let's vote.
Did we vote?
Raj?
You want me to press it for you, Raj? It's unanimous. Okay, public hearing 2, Lancaster Lighting Maintenance District.
Open the public hearing.
Any speaker cards?
No speaker cards.
No public, close the public hearing?
Open it first.
Open
the
it,
staff
close it.
report.
I did it. Is that enough? Okay.
Yeah,
Got to
waive
open
the
it
staff
first, then close it.
Open the public hearing. Now we close the public hearing. Is there a motion? Oh, we waived the staff report.
Yes.
Yeah. Motion to approve PH2.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
It's unanimous. And Raj, you're getting that finger down. Public hearing 3. Any speaker cards?
No speaker cards.
Open the public hearing, close the public hearing,
Waive the staff report.
waive the staff report. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve PH3.
Second that. Let's vote. It's unanimous.
That's pretty good. He did.
Somebody messing with my button there.
With your what?
My button.
He had to clarify because he said closest to you.
That is truly disgraceful.
He had to clarify that. He said closest to you. I'd do that too if I was sitting there.
I am shocked. Okay, public hearing item 4. Is there any speaker cards?
No speaker cards.
Open the public hearing, close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Waive the staff
Oh,
report.
waive the staff report.
Now close it.
Close it.
Oh, I got to waive the staff report, then close it.
Yes.
No kidding. Okay. Wait.
Yeah.
Waive, close. Okay, let's go. Is there a motion?
Move to adopt resolution 16-32.
Is there a second? Let's vote. It's unanimous. Approved.
Take CA1 next.
PA1?
CA1.
CA1. Okay, we'll do CA1 next. Oh, there is no CA1 next. You just want me to do CA1, right?
Right.
Okay, CA1. Okay, where is that? Oh. The city parcel tax. Okay. We got 2 speaker cards. Who's doing the staff report?
Can we hear the speakers first so we can maybe answer any questions that they might
Okay.
have?
Fran. Myra.
But my question is, what does this mean, an update and possible action regarding potential city parcel tax? To whom is that drawn to, and what tax is that for?
We haven't made any determinations on the parcel assessment district yet, so I try not to use the word which you used. So,
Well, I see that word and it pops out at me. That scares me. Okay, so is that in the future, or what?
it's coming around the corner. We'll be able to bring it towards the council, and once the council reviews it and votes on it, then they'll make a decision on where they want to go with the assessment district.
Oh, okay, so, okay. So am I safe, or am I on borderline?
You're safe. You get to ride AVTA for free.
Yes! Thank you.
Nicole Moser.
She used to be in charge of all this, and now it's in United Way.
Good
Did you
evening,
used to be
Mayor
in charge
Perez.
of LASA?
You're not going to let me start?
Well,
Vice Mayor Chris
well, I
promised
just
he
needed to
wouldn't
know
yell
the-
at me
I
anymore.
just needed to know the answer to that so I could spin up for when you're done.
Mayor Paris, I used to be the regional coordinator for Service Planning Area 1 for the Los
So
Angeles
what did we
Homeless
do to make you
Services
mad?
Authority. Make me mad?
We didn't get our share. How come?
I'm on your side.
Is she?
You gonna
She's
hear
on,
me out?
definitely on our side.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Now I can hear you.
I formally resigned my position at LASA on April 1st.
Is that a good thing?
It's excellent. I'm here tonight.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what can you do for us?
Okay, good evening. I've had the pleasure with working, well, mostly the pleasure of working with many of you in multiple capacities. Today's different. Today I'm here as a mother, I'm here as a homeowner, I'm here as a community member, and I hope that you'd consider me your friend. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the possible impact of $60. I'm a bit of a nerd, so I brought numbers for you. When I think about $60, I think half my phone bill, I think about my gym membership, I think about a tank of gas, but I think that we should all challenge ourselves to think a little bit bigger. In the homeless count this year in the Antelope Valley, we counted 3,038 homeless people in the Antelope Valley.
I heard that was understated by about 100%.
I'm here as a mother
Okay.
and a homeowner and a community member.
You brought it up.
Research shows us that on average, it costs about $93,000 a year per person to live on the streets and use public and emergency services that are primarily funded by taxpayer dollars. When we provide services to these people, we can actually reduce the costs by about 43%. Annually, it's actually over $40,000 per person for us in the Antelope Valley. In 1 year, we could save almost $122 million that we know could be put to better use.
Wait a minute. I'm going to let you finish, but let's talk about that for a second.
Yes.
That's persuasive on its face, but the reality is the agencies that would save that money aren't at the table as to putting it back into the homeless. We're at the table. So, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, yeah, the hospital would love us to take them out of the emergency room. Law enforcement would love us to make it not their problem, or the turning them into mental health providers.
Mm-hmm.
But the money we save them doesn't come back for us to do something else. I mean, we're out here on our own in that regard. And if we're going to do something, we can't look for dollars that aren't going to come.
I agree with you.
Okay.
That's why we're here.
Okay, go on.
I think that when we look at the rippling effects of better resource management, we'll actually see real outcomes. We're going to see that property values are increasing, and we're going to see that crime is decreasing. And I think that I believe that we're going to have an overall safer and better city. And I want to commend Lancaster for your innovation and your progressive actions towards the homeless issue in our community. And I look forward to working with you and partnering with you in the future. So, thank you.
Thank you. If Catherine Barger gets elected, and I think she will, to being one of the five kings, I think that she would be open to some type of oversight of all the groups and spinning the money out in accomplishing something that's realistic.
Reinvesting the funds and reallocating them where they're needed.
And I'm wondering if you could possibly get together with her and start moving in that direction now.
I think that's a great idea.
But we have an incredible opportunity if she gets elected that I've never seen before. I've never been so hopeful that maybe we could actually start making progress with the county instead of, and that's not to say Mike didn't do a good job. It's just
Right.
he was with a group that wasn't very progressive in that regard, and now that's changed. There's a whole different group there. I don't know, I'm hopeful.
I'd like to add also, during my time at LASA before I left, one of the things that we put into place was a regional homeless advisory council. So consisting of both cities being represented, agencies that were elected by both cities, the county is represented, United Way is at the table, and we have a former homeless advocate, now attorney, that'll be working with us as well to look at how we can bring more funding to our area and better manage the resources that we have. So
That's really not our style. I mean, seriously, I think having another committee, another group, another advisory panel, the time for that is over. I want people that'll execute. And I think if Catherine gets elected, I think we've got somebody that will execute, and we need to provide her with people that will fulfill the vision that she provides in doing that.
Right.
But what I'm not interested in is meeting with anybody. You get what I'm saying?
Definitely. I think it's going to give us a voice. It's going to also bring the people in LA that have always been asking us to come down the hill. It brings them here to the table in a way that they can actually visually see the differences of our community, but also they're going to be able to see the innovation and the progressive and the intentional actions, I think, that are being made by the city of Lancaster that are going to bring tangible, real solutions. And so I'm very excited about that.
Good. Somebody told me tonight that we have children living in holes out in the desert.
This is true. I've seen that.
And they're hiding from Children's Services, as well they should. I mean, Children's Services just makes it worse, not better.
Yes.
We can't have that. We can't have children in our city living in holes.
I agree.
Can we?
I agree.
So I want pictures of it, and I'll go down wherever I have to go with it. I mean, if they see the pictures of children living in holes, perhaps they'll be human beings. They probably will, won't they? You don't know? See, look how bad it's gotten. We're sitting here. They might be human beings. They might think it's a bad thing that children are living in holes. That's where we're at. I want pictures of children living in holes. If that's true, I want to see it so I can take it down and show it to other people. You know, let them see what they're doing to the people up here, because us just telling them isn't doing it justice. You got pictures? Go get me some if you don't.
I'm here as a mother.
That's right, and that's that's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. Where are the mothers of this community?
You know, our faith-based community does an extremely incredible job.
And I still have children living in holes. We're not doing a good enough job.
We need to reach out to them. Let's ask them.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, we need to reach out to them and ask them to take us and show us and to really paint that picture, because it is a reality. I've seen the holes. I come from direct service.
Help me get some pictures of the kids in the holes, because they're not going to come here. I got to take it to them. But maybe I'll put it on their Facebook. Maybe that'll help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very encouraged by the leadership that we see here in Lancaster, and I'm happy to be a part of it, so thank you.
Thank you. You still didn't tell me why you didn't give us any money when you were on LASA. Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, is there a motion?
We don't need a motion. It was just an update to receive and file. We need to go to MB1.
Did you know we had kids in holes?
I did not.
Okay, we all know now, right? Wouldn't we agree that that is absolutely intolerable?
Nicole, can you try and remember where those were, and we'll try and get pictures and try to make sure everyone knows about it?
And if Children's Services try to take any of them, can I ask the Sheriff's Department to shoot them?
We've actually created an interactive map, and we shared that with the Sheriff's Department this year. And so you can actually go, and it's all GIS locations, and you can click on one of the pinpoints on the map, and it'll tell you all the information we have on each encampment. And so that information's public information, but we've also shared it.
We can't have kids living in holes. Let's get the community involved. Hell, if I tell my wife, she'll bring some of them home. They'd really like that.
That's how you got there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm just curious.
Yes.
You've seen them in holes. What did you do with the information after you've seen it?
I've seen the holes. I've never seen the children. I've been to the encampments. The Desert Vineyard does a really great job of reaching some of our harder to reach areas. There are holes and tunnels and things like that. I would be a mandated reporter legally, so I would need to report if I saw something like that.
Wait a minute, if we report it, Children's Services goes and takes the kids and the starts criminal proceedings against the, I hate those people. Yeah, I know. I'm on the speaker, I'm on the television. Children's Services has to be held accountable for some of this. They should be going to Children's Services for help, not hiding from them, especially not hiding in tunnels and holes. What have we become?
I think there's a misunderstanding in that perceived fear that you expressed.
I'm sorry, what?
There's a misunderstanding and there's a perceived fear, the same that you expressed, that if we tell Children's Services, they'll take my kids away.
Listen, when I had children, I was afraid to speak out against Children's Services because that's exactly what they would do. They are not anybody's friend. Anybody who's had any dealings with them knows that. Sue Dell is our tapestry commission. She works in dependency court. Ask her. Ask the people in dependency what they think. Ask the sheriff's department what they think. You're not going to say it, are you?
She's on our side.
I know you're on our side. I know you're on our side, and I really appreciate that. But, you remember me talking about the carom shot? You stood up and became the carom. What can I say?
Marvin, I was counting on you.
I told him you were a friend. All right.
Thank you.
We're all agreed. We're going to move mountains if we have to.
Mm-hmm.
But within the next 30 days, we get those kids out of the holes. And we do it in a way that they're not taken away from their parents. Can we all make that commitment? Sheriff's Department in?
The extent we can be, yes, sir. But we're mandated reporters just like the poll.
See, I'm telling you. Never mind. Okay. Let's figure out a way so we can do this without having to report it and make it worse. All right? You're going to help us? I know you're just a mother and all that, but you're going to help us?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Thanks.
Thank you.
So where are we now?
We're at NB1.
Okay.
We have no speaker cards.
Okay, wait. Open the public hearing.
There's no public hearing.
Oh.
No speaker cards. I'll make a motion. We adopt Resolution 16-33.
I will second that.
Let's vote. Mark was afraid 100 people were going to be here on this one. Okay. City manager.
No, we have CR1.
CR1, how did we get back? You guys do this just to make me look. All right. Ken. No, Vice Mayor.
No, we let Marvin sit in.
Yeah, and I found out that Mr. Mann's been doing a wonderful job, and I'd like to tell you something differently, but he's been doing a wonderful job, and the sanitation district's going to, rates are going to remain the same because of Mr. Mann, and they're going to remain the same for I believe it's the next 3 years, while other districts
Are going
are
up.
going up. So our area is going up. So keep that in mind when you vote for the city parcel tax. So we're lowering it in other areas. I think you lowered it $25 last year, and they're going to maintain that rate for everything else. No report on AVA QMD, no report on ABTA.
Any other council reports? My, haven't you guys been busy?
Yes.
Okay, now, city manager, any announcements?
In the deference of time, we're only going to show one video, and since my last video was trash last meeting,
Did I trash his video?
Yes, it's on
I
the
thought I
record.
was making constructive comments.
I did take as instructive. So what we'd like to show you today, I think, is indicative of the hundreds and hundreds of small business people that opened businesses last year. This young lady, Gabby, is on the boulevard. They have a restaurant, modern tea room, which is absolutely amazing. But she's got everything right, and this is her dream, and she's indicative of literally 700 or 800 people that opened businesses in the city last year.
Great sound.
There was sound. Gremlins are there.
It's Joe introducing himself.
It's just Joe starts off by talking.
Actually, we wait till Joe stops, then we put the sound.
That was cold.
Modern Tea Room has become one of the go-to spots along the boulevard. They have more than 100 types of teas and a very healthy menu. And today we're going to go talk to Gabby about what makes the tea an A+. Tell me the story about Modern Tea Room.
We have been in the restaurant industry for a long time. We've always wanted to open our own business, and one day we were just talking about things that we love and things that we enjoy, which happen to be tea. For us, it's something that we pride ourselves in and that we believe in when it comes to loose leaf tea, so that's why we decided to do this business, because we felt like people will enjoy it just as much as we do.
And so how did you learn so much about tea in the first place?
Tea is a natural form of medicine for our family. Tea is just amazing. It makes you feel amazing. I just love it. I love it. You have to come try it out. If you're not into tea, just come check us out because we have something for everybody. I promise you, if you come to the Modern Tea Room and you say you don't like tea, before you leave here, you will love tea. And you can come and you can get all of our teas hot or cold. So if you're not feeling hot tea, you can get cold tea and vice versa.
Okay, and then tell me a little bit about the food.
We have several different sandwiches. We have a sandwich called, like if you're into spicy, we have a sandwich called the Mexicana. We have a chicken artichoke sandwich. It comes hot. It's amazing. We have an OG that comes with fresh turkey that we shave daily. We also have several different appetizers. We serve desserts as well, like scones, a pineapple upside down cake, crumb cake. It's all homemade. We make all of our sauces here fresh, so we pride ourselves in fresh ingredients, so all of our food is very, very, very fresh.
Now tell me about how did you end up on the boulevard?
We decided to come on the boulevard because the boulevard is a beautiful place. It is growing. The population is growing out in the Antelope Valley, and I know people love to hang out over on the boulevard. So when I was looking for an area to go to, something kept calling me back to this area, and that's how we ended up here.
What hours are you open?
We're open on Sunday, we're 11:15 to 5. Monday, Tuesday, we're 11:15 to 6. And then Wednesday through Saturday, we're 11:15 to 8 p.m. at night.
How's it been going so far?
Oh, it's been amazing. I can't complain. We have the best clientele. The people who come in this building are just amazing. They're very happy. They leave very happy. They come back all the time. We have a lot of regulars already. It's been great.
Okay, well, I chose the chicken artichoke, so let's see how this goes. There we go. Look at this. A big salad, a nice sandwich, and
Really, Joe? It was so well done until... We really do good stuff. I appreciated that. I mean, you know, given the talent we have to work with, it's just amazing. All right. City Clerk.
This is the time to address the City Council, agency, and authority on non-agendized matters. Speaker cards can be found on the back table of the council chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. State law prohibits the City Council from taking action on items not on the agenda, and your matter may be referred to the city manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Liz Seelman. You had to wait a long time, didn't you?
I did. Good evening. My name is Liz Seelman. I am here merely to introduce myself. I am the new Government Affairs Representative for Southern California Edison. I've spoken to a few folks
Oh, you
on the
poor
phone
thing.
and met Joe. And I just wanted to give a face to the name, let you guys know that I'm here. I have my business cards. I am located out of our Antelope Valley Service Center, which is off of 10th Street and M, right on the corner there. So, thank you for having me.
So, did they say good things about us?
They say good things. There's a little bit of traffic there from Plant 42. I hear folks coming through, but Edison is very, very happy with the city. You're doing great things with community choice and other initiatives. And so I'm just here to sort of be a helping hand and to see where we interconnect and how we can be helpful.
So what do you suggest? How are you going to help us get to net zero?
That is a Lancaster initiative, and we're here to just help distribute and transmit
you gotta do better
energy.
Than that. I mean, at least say I'll get back to you. But
I will take it to Rosemead, our general office, and we will get back to you. Absolutely.
when? Wait a minute. When?
When are we going to get back to you? As soon as we have a directive. 30 days. I'm learning the answers.
So you've got that RPF out there to do the 100 megawatt storage units, for the grid.
For microgrid.
Are you guys working with BYD on that?
If you're referring to the microgrid issue, yes, I believe our.
No. Remember they're doing 100 megawatt storage facilities to replace the gas-fired power plants because of Aliso Canyon, right?
Right.
You're familiar with that?
Yes, I know Aliso Canyon, and I know the fire.
So is Edison working with BYD, and if not, can you suggest to them they do that? Because I think they're the only ones that can actually do that.
Yes, I will take it back. I am on week.
And we would like the first plant to be here.
I understand. I will let them know. I will take the message back.
Good.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Tell them I'll give them something if they do that. Fran, come on up.
I'm just as tired as the rest of you, so I'll make it really, really quick. I wanted just to ask, that $1 million that Christina gave us for our homeless, you might not be able to answer me, but I'll ask the question anyway. How is that money going to be used, and when is it going to be used, and so forth?
Marvin and I are still fighting over that.
Okay. I'm hoping... What?
It's probably going to be used for land. It just, the wheres and the wheres, and we're just going to try to do the best we can with the money that we have, because we still need to put the other infrastructure with that in also. So, but just, you need to tell everybody that Catherine has been a huge part
Yes, I am.
of doing that. So when you go back to the senior center, make sure that's who they vote for.
Oh, yeah, I've been...
Because that's who has helped us more than anyone else that I can tell you about. And I've been doing this just on the homeless for 3.5 years, and she's really stepped up.
Whereabouts of the land are you, where are you thinking about putting this?
We can't say it to
Not
anybody.
yet?
We don't want to let everybody make a land rush over there, but, we're actually looking into several different parcels.
Okay.
I was thinking of Palmdale Boulevard and, never mind.
I was thinking
I was gonna say something nice and funny, but at Thunder on the Lot on Friday night, I went up to Mr. Chris, Mr. Bosigian, and Mr. Mali.
Were they
And
intoxicated?
I asked them, how come I can't be in the parade? I have my wheels on with me. And of course, it was just a joke, but they laughed at me and they sent me on my way. But
They laughed
I
at
just
you?
thought I'd bring
They were laughing at
Not
ladies in
laughing at
wheelchairs?
me, but it was, we're laughing with me.
with you.
They laughed with me because I knew I was going. I thought I was going to make them laugh, and that was my intention. So.
I think Marv was yelling at me at the time. You may have thought
That is
was
true.
laughter.
I witnessed that.
Okay. But thank you very much. God bless you all. Good night.
Thanks, Fran.
Hi, Fran. Sandy William.
Uh-oh, I need some help. I'm trapped, yes. I'm trapped. I can't get out.
And you want to go on a parade.
Oh, no, yeah, then. Yeah, thank you. Oh, Mr. Mayor, who do I speak to about what I asked you about?
Oh, Toy. Hi, Sandy.
Hello. I received a letter from the city regarding my yard, saying that, it was not maintained. Well, I stopped watering because the state said that,
Right.
we should, and I have 3 children that are living with their families with us, and so our water bill is higher than normal. Should be me and my husband. Anyway, so we cut back on our water. We stopped watering. And so now a $500 fine.
Did they actually fine you?
Well, it says if it's not, if I don't have my yard installed and maintained by June 29th, that it will be. I will have face a fine of $500. And
Liz, that would be intolerable.
That is not correct.
Good. You're okay then.
Yeah, she's fine. But she gets a notice of violation to harass.
Liz, just talk to her gently after the. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, don't worry about it.
okay.
We'll take care of it, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, Mr. Zink has left, so I guess he's not going to be speaking. And Wally Melendez, I didn't even see him.
Wally was here.
Wally's left too. So that's all the speaker cards. Anybody else have a burning desire to? Good, thank you. All right, city manager, your announcements are over. City clerk, you're done. Speaker cards are done. Anything regarding council comments? We all good? Okay. No executive.
Moment of silence for the people in Orlando.
No. Okay.
Your time's up.
Your time's up,
Your
Rex.
time's up. Thanks, Brett. We appreciate that.
Can we go home now?
You know, the old Rex could come back. All right, the city council meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, June 28th, 2016 at 5 p.m. Carol, I'm starving and I'm coming home.
Good meeting, Rex.